Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
What does Aldo's mama say?
Nobody knows more about the Bears than Phil and Shane. Fuck everybody else.
That is what Aldo's mama said.
Yeah.
Smart woman.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Nah, nah, nah. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's ever missing. Impossible, the mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces number one Adora. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Conforma. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. Wise Ram, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fired Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce. Risking out a Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes the shots.
No deny.
Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless shoot supply. Go big coat fought the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of get paid for Mitchell. Now I'm the standing up for the truth. You know your boy's a little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter, tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, barflies astound us. This is the number one pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth.
To me, the preseason is all about, and training camp, about preparing your team for the season. And part of preparing your team for the season is make sure you pick the right 53 guys. So we're heavy in the evaluation into this game, more so than evaluating scheme. So we want to see these guys play, see how they do, and then repeat that the next week and get this team ready for the regular season.
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears 100 Proof. You just heard defensive coordinator Vic Fangio tell the media that this Thursday is a huge opportunity for the coaching staff to properly evaluate the talent on this Bears team as they prepare for Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Welcome to the 25th Bears 100 Proof show of 2018 and the 69th Bears Barroom Radio Network show since January 1st. I point that out because this is going to be a truly historic show for all of us here at the Barroom. We have a huge announcement to make. There's a major addition to the Barroom team, and it is going to be announced in about 20 minutes or so. So, if you don't know, my name is Aldo Gandia, and I serve the drinks here, but don't you worry, the stars of our nightclub act are here, and they are, of course, Shane, the smartest man in the Barroom, Marsall, and Draft Dr. Phil Atoshan. And seated at the best booth in the house is Bears Girl. She is scouring the internet with breaking news and maybe some funny tweets. Later in the show, Petty Page and the Code Taker podcast host Paige DeMacos will join us after our special announcement and secret guest. Then to close things out, Trey Busy will join us with his Steak and Whiskey segment. Gentlemen and lady, I want to address what happened at Bourbonnais today with Vic Fangio, Roquan Smith, and what have you. But first, I want to get the temperature in the room. Are you as fired up about this announcement as I am? Shane, let me start with you.
Well, the temperature's really hot after listening to Mrs. Gandia, Professor Love, for the two boys in here, right, Phil?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling it.
She's texting me right now, Mrs. Gandia, and gave us that beautiful opening, and I love it. And I love you, Phil. How are you?
Doing good. How are you? Because, I talked a lot last night, so I've been waiting.
Yeah, you did.
Waiting to hear from my boy over here.
I don't know. Gandia was giving you a run when he was putting Tariq Cohen and Mike Burton on the Mount Rushmore of Chicago Bears.
I was a little excited.
Put him up there next to Gale Sayers and all those guys. But, yeah.
Phil, how are you fired up?
Oh, I'm fired up because Bears Barroom, and if you don't know, you better tell somebody and their cousin.
Phil.
I love you, man. You're not getting my Bud Light, Bill. Screw the Bud Light. I love you. I love you. Okay, look. I've been living a lie. Look, you win, okay? Here's the beer. It's you that I want, Frank. Oh, here, really, you can have it all. Not Jane, not the kids. It's you. Take the beer! Here, just take the beer. Here. Take me. Drink it. Take me. Drink it. Come on, take the beer, man. Drink the beer.
Yes, I love you too. But part of that, in all honesty, if I was given a toast at the Shane Marsaw wedding, it would be one in which we had a vision and we withstood a lot of, growth and criticism, as well as a lot of praise along the way for what we were doing hidden in the corner somewhere and building this micro organism up to what it is with all the moving parts and the segments and adding Bears Girl and the Christmas album and Firefox and all of the stuff that came through three guys believing in something that is what this show is. And I'm proud of it. I'm so fired up to let fans. It's been tough keeping it a secret, Aldo, because really it's just another showcase of the energy of the bar room. And I think what is going to transpire is going to get a lot of people talking. That's for sure. That's the first thing. But it's also going to get a lot more promotion for the show and everything we do here. So Barflies, put your seatbelts on. You're in for a little ride tonight because the money man Marsaw is coming to town with the mail.
Bears go, what's your temperature like right now?
Well, I am ecstatic that I've been upgraded to a booth, finally. Jesus, I was on that shitty car for so long. And I'm sitting here almost 9 months to the day that I found you guys, and I feel like I'm giving birth to this baby, this new Bears Barroom.
Shane, you are not the father.
I will share with you that none of you are the father.
Where's their chair at? Where's their chair at?
No, certainly not.
Can we play the Maury Povich music?
And in all honesty, I had
That's
no
my baby.
clue what the hell I was getting into with you guys. And here we are, like I said, almost 9 months later. And this is big. This is going to be a big 10-pound baby.
Well, let me tell you that I got Airger on the phone right now, and the results are in. And Airger, you are the father.
I'm so excited. Me and BG finally hooked up. I'm half Canadian now. She's going to move to Southwest Indiana. She's going to bring our 10-pound Sasquatch that we named Chris. It's going to be fantastic.
Wow.
You are terrible.
That is not where I wanted this to go at all, but I should have fucking known better.
How did this go there?
Really?
Did we just blow our big announcement?
Yeah, I think so. I think the person that said, no, thank you. I changed my mind.
Yeah, no, the announcement is not that I am pregnant. The announcement is not that I'm having a Bears Barroom baby. But it is a pretty big deal.
It's going to be a long off season coming up, BG. We got time.
Listen, we're about a little more than 10 minutes away from calling our special person. And so what I would like to do, I've got a bunch of Vic Fangio sound bites from today. Let me just play one, and then maybe after a couple of segments, we'll come back to Fangio. This was Fangio being asked, are they coaching the new rule about leading with the head and helmet, and how they are doing so?
We've been coaching it, and I've been talking about it a lot in the meetings. We have video that we show in the meetings. But, we don't do a lot of live stuff out here, and I don't think most teams do. So the answer to your question is we're trying hard, but until they get put in game action or live action, I don't think we'll know the answer to that. But we have been making them fully aware of it.
What's the balance then? What's the balance then between letting a player play freely, fast, unencumbered by this, thought that either they're going to be penalized or fined or ejected, anything like that?
I've shown them plays where I think we can definitely adjust. I think there are some plays that will be hard to adjust, and we just have to keep working on it. One of the most non-football rules ever put into football was the 5-yard illegal contact rule. I mean, if coaches from the 60s rose from the dead today, they would want to go back in their grave with that rule. And we've adjusted. So I think they'll eventually adjust. I don't know how it's going to look early. Traditionally, with these types of rules, you might see more flags in the preseason. But I really do think it's going to be a hard rule to officiate.
I was going to say, is it hard to change muscle memory on anything like that?
It is. But we're trying to make them aware of it. And they are aware of it. And I think there are some ones that have happened in the past that we can eliminate. I just don't know that we can eliminate them all.
Phil, I've never met your dad. I did hear him talk a little bit on a video that you shot of him, but that almost sounded like your father, right?
It really does. It's funny because there's connections that coaches that have coached with my dad have coached with Vic. So you read my mind, really, because that would be exactly what he said. And it's, without emotion, I think, not to talk too much about my dad, but he would be more comical and more emotion in there. Vic is very dry, but he's humorous because it's so honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the similarities lie. If you listen to this show, I mean, that's how I try to roll in this show because it's the truth. We talked about all these things. Well, I know in my rant, worrying about what this rule is going to be, and to hear Vic be as articulate and honest. I mean, that to me was refreshing. When I watched this interview I listened to it really on the drive home from work today, I was just so impressed with how he handled it and something that is on all our minds, and it's going to be tough. And one thing I thought about today, I wanted to talk about a simple play, Shane, one with which happens over and over and again in the NFL is everybody's running to the cone.
Yeah.
And offensive guys diving to reach the ball, to hit the cone. What in God's name is a defensive back or a linebacker giving chase or where are they going to put their head? They're going to dive.
Yeah.
There's going to be contact. This is a collision sport. And to try to take away what these gridiron athletes are signed up to play, to me, I'm just so frustrated by it because I think plays that are normal every day, God for, you don't want your head coach challenging a diving fumble, but let's just think about how many times this play comes into play, and that's what scares me about this rule.
And when it's gonna first bite us is when Roquan finally signs and gets in camp, and week 1, week 2 rolls around, he's going to make a huge play, just like you said, maybe even at the goal line, and it's going to be a game-deciding tackle, and we're all going to be super excited because he came up with that big stop, and then we're going to look down and see that laundry on the field. And there you go. You know damn well it's going to be Chicago that's going to kick this thing off and then get screwed over. But you put it perfectly, Phil. I don't know what they're going to do. It's the one reporter there talked about changing your muscle memory and how, I mean, Roquan Smith is, 21 years old, and look, how long has he been playing football? You know what I mean? He's been playing it probably since he's, 5, 6 years old. And you're getting to the highest level, and that you got to change a lot of things now. And it's going to be very, very hard to figure out. And unfortunately, we're seeing it leak over into contract negotiations, and we're facing that head on. Yeah,
the laundry's on the fucking the whole city of Chicago, for God's sake, because that's all anyone's talking about is this fucking deal and where these two sides are.
Yeah,
Shane, I don't flip flop.
Yeah.
Once I got educated on what exactly they're fighting over, to me, this is just ignorance on the Bears' part. Like my dad put it best. Did you hear the show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I've already spoken on it, so go ahead. What did you think?
No, I'm just
PG.
It's true. It's hard to, like you said, when it first came out, I didn't really know what to think, and then you read on it more and you listen to it. You listen to different people talk about it, and it's hard to deal with in an off season where we had as much positivity as we did in Chicago, and you get this ready-made defender that really fell into your lap that could have went earlier in any other draft, and here we are, just 48 hours away from the kicking off the preseason, and you hear your head coach come out and say, we're at a stalemate, and this, to me, it's turning into a Joey Bosa type, holdout where they're digging in and neither side is moving. And, you wonder if there's not some back channel things where maybe, the league is involved and say, make a stance and Chicago, the franchise will benefit from it somehow, if they dig in and make a stand here. But to me, enough is enough. We wait all off season for this. I don't like the drama. You're talking about taking guaranteed money, away from a kid, so it's not really guaranteed. And you're arguing over semantics on something that may never even happen, and that's the part that gets me. But it is. It's really hard to stomach at this point.
I got to tell you that this is, though, another example of the NFL screwing something up. This rule is a reaction to the lawsuits that they've had to go through and that are going to happen in the future because of, the fact that at first the $1 billion settlement was because the NFL withheld information to the players about some of the scientific findings regarding hits to the head. And so that's why they paid $1 billion. Now they're running scared. And so now they're trying to avoid more big-time settlements like this. And so they rush through these rules without properly thinking it through in terms of how to implement them into the league in a seamless way without drawing all this controversy. And so why are certain teams not dealing with the contract language and one team is? That's because the NFL does not have a coordinated effort to dealing with this issue. This league, but Roger Goodell runs this league worse than I run Bears Barroom. I mean, the guy is an idiot, and I just can't believe that he's being paid $30 million a season for what he's doing. This should not have happened. I am for the rule. I am for the rule because of player safety, but there had to be an easier way to get to this point and make this transition seamlessly, because what's going to happen the first half of the season, there's going to be a lot of ugly football out there.
We're all going to be learning, and there's going to be no consistency. with it. The special treatment, as I said, to the Green Bay Packers, if you didn't know, especially when they're playing the Bears, every game I could think of has come down to some freaky penalties and weird ball spots and the rules and all this other garbage. So, again, that's a rivalry game and what have you, but it's just a showcase that officiating can control these things. And just now think about how much more control, because it's so subjective to somebody's eye. This game is fast. So to be able to, as Shane was giving you, a possibility of a play by Roquan Smith, he's just setting you up for, what happens if, what about the other way? Jordan Howard dips his head to drive through a guy. Low man wins. That's been taught since the dawn of time of football. Freaking Princeton Rutgers, I think, is the first football game in the history of the U.S. First football game in the history of the world, we'll say. And low man wins has always been the coaching point. You want to get your pads down low. Your head goes with it. Now, it could be perfect, but subjectively, some ref from the side thinks it's too low for his liking, and it becomes a judgment thing. Then it goes to Al Riveron, the guy who couldn't see that Zach Miller scored a touchdown. Now, it's all this bureaucracy. Just so happens, and this is something I thought about on the drive home that I wanted to get your guy, gambling in the U.S. is becoming illegal. Want to control some outcomes? Oh, Jordan dipped his head. We love the Packers, by the way, by 6. The Bears are about to go up by 1. Nope. Flag on the play. Jordan dipped his head. The review. Al Michaels can't believe it. I see it all playing out like that. And it is what you said, Aldo. It's unthought. How about this? An asshole comes up and dips his fucking head in somebody's face, and everybody's like, oh, shit, like you did with Danny Trevathan. Then you fine. Then you throw out the game because that's not tolerated. Let's make it safe. Let's put our head a certain way. Everybody. What is a defensive lineman going to do, Aldo? What's an offensive lineman doing when he's coming on a trap play? Where does he put his head?
What's going to happen in Philly on that first 4th and 1 and they go for it and Wentz drops his head and barrels forward.
Exactly. What are you taught as a quarterback?
Yeah.
Get the ball. Your whole body has to go down with your head. You're taught to get in that crease. I get so fired up with this because
I'd be interested.
I thought the World Cup left, Aldo.
I'd be interested to know when Chicago let CAA know that this was going to be, in the contract. Let's not forget that Roquan was drafted back in April.
Exactly.
And here we are going to August 1, and this minor, wording in the contract is keeping our top 10, linebackers off the field. And it's...
Oh, I don't care, Shane. Just keep them out. He's got to get the rule right.
I am going to pause this convo. Not that we're going to stop it for long, but we have a special guest who will be joining us very, very soon. And it is time to bring them on.
He is going to join us momentarily, but there's only one proper way to introduce the newest addition to Bears Barroom, and that is through a draft Dr. Phil song.
Dreams. He started selling hot dogs and he's on the show. You know that old and great Mikey North.
I tell you, Mike North ain't no bear ball washer, that's for sure.
News just broke a few hours ago.
That's right, news just broke, and Mike North is now a part of Bears Barroom. Welcome to the family, Mike North.
You know what? I said to myself, everything's going too good. What can I possibly do? What could I possibly do to make things go askew, like I've done so many times? You know what, Aldo, it's great to be with everybody. From the first time I've been on with you guys, all of you, I liked everybody that's doing it, and then Aldo and I had a relationship where we've talked a few times and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure. I like to be a part of something that I think has a lot of potential that hasn't even been tapped yet. There's a lot of things that we can do, including a little bit more balance, like I talked to Aldo about, Al, and I don't think it's a secret when it comes to the Chicago Bears, because I think that's important. Not that you guys haven't had some balance, especially with the owners and with the coaches, but I think with the players, the buzz out of Bear camp is not positive. But it's really going to be great to talk about it and do videos every single week.
All right, Mike, before we let you continue bashing the Bears, I want Phil to talk about the song that he produced for you.
Great song, Phil. I love the song. It's hard to do parodies. It really is.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of them, Mike, but, Aldo sent down a little teaser to me. It was like, hey, listen, I talked to Mike North, this, that, and the other. I said, I was already working on a Mike North song, so when he comes back and Shane beats him in that bet, I was going to have this song ready for you. Then Aldo's like, no, Mike wants to be a part of this, Phil. He wants to come on with you, debate. He wants to show stuff about betting lines and helping the fan get the locks and help them learn about, how to bet and what you should be doing. I retweet your stuff, Mike, all the time because I know a lot of people love to be in the gambling. And
there's no doubt. And I appreciate, first of all, the song. So I really do. I enjoyed it. It was great. They're not easy to do. I did some myself back in the day. But
does that mean we're going to have a duet?
You never know. But you know what? I see so much with the gambling guys and ladies with the gambling coming up. I think it's going to be legal in Illinois soon. Mm-hmm. And let me just say this once again, that it's great to be with you guys, because what I miss is being part of a team, like I had at the Score, like I did at Fox. I played sports my whole life. And what I like is, I was offered, and Aldo knows this from another prominent site, had a lot more people involved, a lot more followers. It just wasn't for me. I mean, this is ideal. It's a Bear site. I think we're all Bear fans. We want to see them do well. I've always wanted them to do well, but I have a more realistic approach, as we're seeing with the Smith. I've always tried to counsel you youngsters, to tell you that it's the same Bear ownership that we've been messing with for 30, 35 years. They took at least another Super Bowl away from us because of mismanagement after 85. I just think that with the same ownership, it's not a surprise to me that this young man is being really unfairly targeted because of the stupid target rule. And this is the longest since Joey Bosa. And believe me, Smith's good. He's not Joey Bosa good. I trade Smith tomorrow for Joey Bosa. So I understand where his agent's coming from, but Nagy's in a tough spot already.
No, you're 100% right, Mike. Before you came on, me and Shane were talking about this. Look at Mike North. He's coming into the family. He's coming off the top rope, right into the fire of what is going on. Everybody's talking about this. I said it last night, Mike. It's exhausting. And when you got more information, the more you see, the more stupid it looks on the Bears, and it's ridiculous. And Shane and I were talking about that before you came on.
Right.
I know I spoke a lot about the bullshit, and you signed this, you scouted this football player, you believe in it, you preach. I mean, you got a Hall of Fame linebacker going in. You celebrate these players. If you drafted this guy and you're worried about having to cut him to lose money later, then that's the GM's problem. He's picking the wrong fucking guy because
they don't
you got to
get
this done.
They don't know how to treat it. They're really, when it comes to, you know, you hear the term swamp of the National Football League. They're in there with the Giants, you know, the old school teams. Green Bay's always been pretty flexible because they're small townish. They've always been more of a college atmosphere to me. I've never included them, even though they were in the original charter of the National Football League. But you just see the nonsense. It's just so unnecessary. You know that the players don't have 100% into the upcoming game with the Urlacher induction, with all the and Ray Lewis there. They're just not going to be bought in. Now there's going to be guys that are playing for their lives in that first game. Yet there's distractions, and usually with me in the history of the Bears, because one of the things I'm going to do is be like the historian of Bear Barroom, because I go back to the early '60s with this nonsense, from Mike Ditka holding out and Johnny Morris in '64 after winning the championship. You know, to the '86 deal, '87 when they got rid of Wilbur Marshall, it just took away the fear factor. They let Buddy Ryan go. I mean, this is nothing new, guys, and that's why I think it's going to be tough this year for this team.
Yeah, this is really sad in that we thought that with the addition of Matt Nagy and the press conference that Ryan Pace had, a couple of press conferences early where he seemed to be more transparent, it seemed like maybe this franchise was turning a corner. But this whole Roquan Smith just reminds us that this franchise, they tried to pass this Illinois legislation, state law that would have prohibited or made it tougher for former Bears players to apply for workman's comp. They did that just a year ago, and now they're messing around with the language on this young man's contract. I just really, you know, hate the way this management team acts. They keep reverting to the old Hallis, you know, throwing nickels like sewer caps tradition, and it's like they make you feel good for a second, and then all of a sudden they just kick you in the nuts.
I saw Ryan Pace, a picture of him in a newspaper the other day, or on Twitter, in a pair of shorts with that big head and that perfect hair. It's very scary. It really is. I got to be honest with you. I mean, he looks like a cartoon hero. Every time he goes to jump, he tries to jump over the wall. He bangs into it because he can't get out of his own way. I don't know if it's because of Ted Phillips, who once again should never be around a football team. He was a bean counter. And he basically has been there for so long. He was driving to the McCaskey residence that fateful morning thinking he was going to be fired. Instead, they handed him the keys to the car. So it just gets the fans in a bad way. It gets all the festivities. It puts a sour on the festivities. I know it's only the first game, but this kid needs to get into the camp. I don't think anybody's completely sold on anybody in or on this football team. I really don't. I don't hear the same, and I know people that are down there right now. I'm not hearing the same enthusiasm about Mitch that I heard last year because it was a new thing, and now people are starting to read accounts from national writers that have him as a Tier 4 quarterback, when in Chicago last year he was going to be a Tier 1. So, you know, we just got to take a wait-and-see attitude. There's only one guy on this football team that I would have as a Pro Bowler, and that's Jordan Howard. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else on this football team that you could point to right now, guys, and go, is there a Pro Bowler?
You don't know Akeem Hicks, Mike?
Yeah, but there's a lot of Akeem Hicks in the leagues. And he also has big injury problems. Look, we can speculate. We got to see it on the football. I heard the same thing about Leonard Floyd for 2 years. So let's not.
Akeem
no, hold on. Leonard Floyd was the man.
Akeem Hicks Leonard Floyd is a concern coming even in the draft. If you listen to me, I was totally against this pick for fear of injury and size, and it's exactly what's transpired. But I love you, but I gotta stop you right there. In watching Akeem Hicks and what he does and how he dominates 2 and 3 blockers, and still for a 3-4 defensive end who's not asked to pass rush, who's an afterthought in that, to get the amount of pressures alone, let alone the sacks. I think he had 8 sacks last year, Mike, at 338 pounds, probably 342. And he's moving like that. And let's not forget about what he does in the run game, because to try to seal, especially in the zone blocking stuff, to scheme to get him off his point and cut the corner. Everything is flushed back inside because they can't scoop him. They can't set the edge with him because he's such a immense talent. So everything this guy does, and if he gets angry, that guy is unblockable. I mean, he's tossing people around like manhole covers, like the freaking fucking McCaskies, for God's sake. He's throwing Pro Bowlers down.
Well, you know what? We'll see what happens. You know what? I'm not going to discount that young man. You know what? I've seen it all. I remember Tommy Harris was supposed to be this and that. I'll take you back in time. You'll think you went back to the future. And don't guffaw Tommy Harris. Tommy Harris was billed higher than Akeem Hicks ever was coming out of college. Ever. So Tommy Harris was supposed to be all that.
He was, Mike. He was.
He wasn't. Tommy Harris
was one of the most dominant 3 techniques in football until he got hurt.
Tommy Harris was a cancer on the football team that caused off the field problems.
After he got hurt, Mike, go back.
He never fulfilled his promise. And if
he didn't, because Mark Colombo folded him up.
Fulfilled his promise.
He didn't, because he didn't get a chance to.
Because you know what? Then you're like me. You only finished the 7th grade. I could have done much better.
Mike, why do you think I picked Johnny B. Good for you? You're going back to the future, baby.
I must have missed the Tommy Harris years. Because I'll tell you what, he was supposed to. I don't know what Shane remembers about him, but he was supposed to be a dominator for a decade. He's supposed to be a Reggie White type.
Exactly, he was, Mike, but he got folded up the Super Bowl year.
That's the way it goes, baby.
That was
the way it is. J.S. Sayers got folded up after 6 years.
Mike,
that's football.
Well, okay.
And then he had problems off the field that we don't need to go into, personal problems. He had issues. So he paraded around as a minister. Who went out to help underdamaged kids, and then we find out later his life was a mess. So I understand the patting of the heads of the players, but that's going to change with me on this group. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. But just because you're saying it doesn't.
Tommy Harris wasn't Deacon Jones, Shane. Okay?
I didn't say that he was, Mike. I never said. But he wasn't Tank Johnson either. I'm just saying, Tommy Harris was a dominant 3 technique his first 2 years in the league.
2 years. Let me tell you, you buy a new car, lasts 2 years, you're going to be in front of that lot with a picket sign.
Yeah, but it's
but Mike, you don't think the injuries matter?
Yeah,
absolutely. That's why I don't even understand why we're having this conversation. This should have been over 10 minutes ago. He didn't fulfill his promise.
So fucking Tommy ain't coming on the show now.
You were alluding to that he was never good, though, correct? That's
no, I was alluding Tommy Harris never fulfilled his promise, and that's a fact.
I agree there, but I think there was a lot.
Are you sure? I thought this guy was on the all-decade team the way you were talking.
No, you're putting words in my mouth there.
No matter what,
like a fireball.
I love it, baby, because. You know what? We got so much room to grow, don't we, Aldo? We got so much room to grow on this.
I need you.
Debate is healthy. This is what's going to make it great.
Let me tell you something. When Mike and I first sat down to talk about this union, he told me the first thing he said is, I got one concern. You got a bunch of Bear ball washers over there.
I knew it was coming. Why do you think it's in the song?
You know what? It's really hard when you have a team that might win 4 games. And here's what we're banking on. You can't bank any kind of site or station on what your predictions are going to be. And for instance, you never know. I mean, when you're in broadcasting, you want everything you're saying to come out true, but very rarely it does, Aldo. You know that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It very rarely comes true.
Have you met Shane yet?
Yeah.
He's picked a lot of things
that's
right
what I'm
this
trying to
offseason,
say.
This could be a battle between you and Shane. Finally,
it's not really a battle. It's not really a battle. If I signed guys for 2 years, he'd be a good 2-year signing. I mean, Tommy Harris got hurt, and you know what? But he was lazy coming back. I know stuff. He was lazy coming back. He wasn't devoted to his rehab. He started having off-field problems. He started having weight problems. So when you say, well, you know what? Hey, there's guys that come back from his injuries after 2 years, Shane, and put together a pretty good product. I wasn't down in Tommy Harris, especially from the beginning. I sort of liked the pick. But after that, he was lazy, at times no account. I mean, this is from people I knew in the field. So, you know what? He never put his heart back into it. Maybe the injury threw him off. He found religion for a while and, you know, got into papers, but he never fulfilled, I thought, what he was supposed to. It was a tragedy that happened to him, but that's football.
Oh, I agree there. He didn't fulfill his promise. I totally agree with what you're saying there. I guess I misunderstood what you were saying because I said for the first 2 years, absolutely he was dominant. But, yeah, it's unfortunate, and I'm not privy to all of the off-field stuff.
If Joe Green goes down after 2 years, we're not talking about him, right? Me and Joe Green had a career. You got to have a career to get. You got to have a career. You can't say, well, the first year or the second year. You got to have a career. And unfortunately, in football, that's why they don't give away guaranteed contracts. Is the injury factor? I mean, the bonus money's huge now. I mean, you know, if you're, but that's about as close as you'll get.
And even the guaranteed money's not guaranteed anymore, Mike. We're seeing that with Roquan Smith. We'll guarantee it.
You know what?
We'll take it away later.
I think, guys, I really think that they should revisit the rule. I think they should put a moratorium on it this year. I think they should say it's the same as last year. We did things as usual because of lack of leadership in the NFL office by the commissioner. Half-assed. And we should revisit this rule next year, table it for this season, pull it off. The referees don't know what they're doing. The Bears are using it as a bargaining chip, which is just deplorable, but it doesn't surprise me. And I think it will hurt the league, and I think it's going to cost somebody a football game. And especially where gambling is going to be more legal coming in. And when I say more legal in more places, hopefully Illinois will have it, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree, Mike, that, you know, maybe they should pump the brakes a little bit, but I would still implement the rule, but take away the disqualification and the fine associated with it and work into it. I mean, because you've got to give these players an opportunity to get their brains straight in terms of changing the way they tackle. It's totally unfair to impose this harsh penalty on them for, you know, after years of allowing this to happen and now automatically throwing them out of the game and fining them and taking money out of their check. That's ridiculous. I didn't
even see anything wrong with this. What happened with this rule? Why they put this in? Last year wasn't bad. I thought everything was coming together. I thought they were starting to tackle with good technique, guys. I don't know about you, Phil. I don't know about you, Shane. I don't know what you guys think, but I thought last year you didn't see as many headshots. I thought that they were very conscious. I don't understand why they cause more problems in the National Football League for themselves than any league I've ever seen. Yep. This was the golden goose in the 80s, and they're chipping away at the foundation, and the building's going to fall sooner or later.
Before you came on, Mike, I think Aldo alluded to it with us by saying it goes back to all these, you know, lawsuits and the $1 billion, you know, payout that they were going to give all the former players and all of that. It's essentially just a, you know, cover your ass type thing, you know, with the public, and it's a bunch of bullshit as we're sitting here. And, you know, you're talking about a guy like Roquan Smith. The part that gets me too, any type of a suspension in the NFL, you're going to lose money in a suspension, but then they're going to double dip. These teams are he's gonna get suspended, lose money, and then they're gonna go after his guaranteed money on top of that. So he's actually getting nicked twice. That's the part that's so crazy.
The Bears are low rent, man. The Bears are so low rent with the guaranteed money thing for this kid. To make him think about how he's gonna have to hit somebody. It's a reactionary sport. I saw the greats from Butkus to Briggs to Buffon. These guys, if they stopped dead to think, they wouldn't have been half as good. They were able to just go after people and not think about it. And now you're going to be thinking about it. And this poor kid's a linebacker, and you want him to be a dominant linebacker. And when they say, "Hey, look, when you hit him, make sure you keep your head up," well, you're taking away the guy's savagery. You're taking away the heart of the game. They're ruining the game as it is. So it's a good thing they're going to bring gambling in, because if they didn't, I think they know they have a problem on their hand. They have other social issues they can't even address. They need a new commissioner so badly, somebody to take the reins and somebody to say, let's table this issue. This is what we're going to do with this situation. This is what we're going to do with that situation. They don't have somebody like that. They got a guy upstairs that glad hands and hides.
Hey, Mike, we've all been a part of negotiations, and you know how it goes. Initially, one of the sides will leak something out, and it makes them look, like the sacrificial lamb, and the other side is the hero. And then you see Nagy come out and say, we're not going to talk about this. But then Nagy comes out today and says,
next day,
"Hey, we're in a stalemate." So this back and forth, this is all a part of the process. And I said, I kind of wonder this Hall of Fame game. The Bears are going to be in the spotlight a little bit with Urlacher, like you brought up, and Ray Lewis. The Bears are going to be out there. This is going to be more of a national focus. And I said, I wonder, do you think that there's a possibility that could put any pressure on these, CAA and Pace to get a deal done?
Yeah, I think they want to have their show horse, their show pony out there, guys.
Yeah.
They want to have the draft picked out there. They want to show the next big Bear linebacker of all the great linebackers that they've had. But I just think that they have the same, and this is what I've said from the beginning. I've been consistent. They have the ownership that is torn, that's broken down. I think Virginia McCaskey went to the premiere of Gone with the Wind.
Tomorrow is another day.
As a middle-aged woman, I'm starting to. This woman's never going to go away, so we're going to be stuck with her. We'd like to give a round of applause to happy 139th birthday to Virginia McCaskey. Freakishly, she continues to live on while everybody else dies around her.
Mike, who's older, Queen Elizabeth or Virginia McCaskey? It's like
Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth has more titles. I think, I really do. I think Queen Elizabeth wants to win. I don't know if Virginia McCaskey. It's sort of hard to look at somebody. There's a reason they retire generals at 65. You know what I mean? Or 70. And your general, the one you look up to for inspiration, last went on a date probably when she was in the covered wagon. I just don't know.
Oh, damn.
That's the way. I don't know what you want me to do over here. I'm just telling the truth.
Hey, that's what we do.
A waterbed used to be a coral reef, when she was around. God.
We're talking about this with Roquan Smith and the guaranteed money, and this is what really gets to me is the Bears the last few years have had zero issue with handing out big guaranteed money. Why in this? But not just Glennon. Akeem Hicks got re-signed. Mitch's deal, number 2 overall, $29 million of it. The entire contract is guaranteed. All of these guys. Kyle Long got an extension. Danny Trevathan, all these guys. Why now? Why Roquan Smith, the 8th pick in the draft? Leonard Floyd got a big deal. Mitch has the same clause in his contract that is an issue with Roquan Smith. Granted, he's not a linebacker.
I think you're right. I saw something on Twitter tonight. Somebody says, is Trubisky going to be the next, are the Bears going to be the next Rams? There's no way in hell. No way in hell that's going to happen because, you know what? It's just the same people at the top. And Aldo knows this. If you've ever run anything I ran everything from hot dog stands to political campaigns to radio stations. Now I'm involved with a great website like Bears Barroom, which can and will be a great website. And it's about at the top. It's about attitude. It's about making your people excited. Do you think those players feel excited right now? They're looking for this guy who's looking, and they know what's going on. They know their day's going to come with the front office. And when they see a front office harassing this guy seems like a good kid, seems like a character kid. And all they're doing now is making him look bad, and they send signals out, like you guys said earlier, out in the public. The public gets the wrong signals sometimes, and they think the player's selfish. They think the agent's selfish. I've seen the agent take some hits. I'm on the player's side on this, like I am most of the time when it comes to the Chicago Bears.
Well, Mike, that poll you mentioned was from ESPN 1000. I'm here.
I miss you.
I miss you too. And 63% agree with you that no, the Bears are not going to be last year's Rams.
You'd like to see that, but the whole thing is they got two quarterbacks. I mean, they got two quarterbacks that I would trade Trubisky for right now. I would. And Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, and the other kid is fantastic. But then I started thinking to myself, would it really matter? I think Trubisky goes to the Eagles, becomes a much better quarterback. It's who's coaching him. We don't know if Nagy's going to be all that good. Would you guys right now, let me ask this question. This would be a good poll question. Maybe one of these days when nobody's looking, we can sneak it in there. Would you trade Trubisky for Sam Darnold?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Everybody's got to know.
Yeah.
Aldo said no. I didn't hear you.
I would say no. I had to think about it a little bit. Definitely no.
Here's the thing I'm going to say. They probably are both going to end up not being all that good because of the teams around them.
Mike,
it's because of the teams around them.
Do you think that the talent on the Jets is comparable to the potential and the talent that's on the Bears roster?
I think they're both capable of winning 4 games.
Mike,
but they're both capable of surprising. The Bears are not. The over under for them is like 5 guys, 5.5.
Right, but Mike, do you think they got?
No, I don't think it's a lock.
Do you think that they lock? Do you think they got worse from last year, Mike?
I'm not going to say they got worse, but there's a new system being put in. You got new coaches. I think there's more attention to detail. There's no question. I'm not going to argue about the other guy being gone. But I just don't know if the talent level's there yet. We do have to deal with injuries. It seems like the Bears lately, and I like what Phil said about Hicks. He's right about Hicks. He should be a Pro Bowler. I'm not gonna cave in. I got to see it happen again because I've heard other players being touted, but he does have a good body of work very early, and he's hard to handle, no doubt about it. But I don't know if there's enough. I don't know if there's enough, guys, because you got to remember they're in a league that has 3 better quarterbacks than the one that they got.
I think a lot of it, Mike, is and you can't win with potential. They have to prove it on the field. But they went from one of the oldest teams to one of the youngest teams, and you're saying that they haven't proved it. It's because Tariq Cohen's going into year 2. Mitch has played 12 games. It's Trey Burton they're trying to catch him on his upside. Kyle Long has been out.
I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. I'm looking at quick hitting offenses. I'm looking at a Bear receiving court that together, all 4 of them have only a total of 325 plays total in the National Football League, which is unbelievably inexperienced or unbelievably just bad luck and injuries and everything else. So they have a young group of guys. Sometimes you're too young. Maybe they're a year away. Maybe they're 2 years away.
Sure.
Maybe they'll never be anything worth a damn. But here's what I'm saying. I just don't think they're going to go up, like we said earlier, and surprise anybody and be like the Rams. And I think even their fans are seeing it that way this year. They're willing to give a first-year coaching staff. You got to give a first-year coaching staff time to get settled in. And that's why I'm sort of upset, like, with the contract situation and just distractions outside of what this rookie head coach has to concentrate on, which is the players.
The one thing you're right about,
I'm really good
Mike,
tonight. I'm really throwing the information out tonight. I got to be honest with you.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Of course.
All right. I didn't know. Shane's just talking over me like.
Shane's going nuts. Shane's losing his mind.
Hey, my connection's good, and I'm taking advantage of it.
He just beat the crap out of me. I got a cut over my right eye. I got ice on it. It's ridiculous.
Well, I got to say this.
Welcome to the bar room.
Yes.
In regards to the offense, you're 100% right. But a defense returning as defensive coordinator, a top 10 ranked defense, returning with confidence, their best player out there right now showing himself is Kyle Fuller. We haven't gone live yet, but people were worried about matching the deal and letting him go to a division rival. You got him back. You got two young safeties running the same philosophy outside the lackluster John Fox, and allowing Vic Fangio, because I have some connections too, to call his defense and be less conservative and be more mindful about getting to the quarterback. And if we don't have a pass rusher in Leonard Floyd and the kid Lynch is constantly injured, we're going to have to scheme pass rush, and we're going to have to get a good push from Eddie Goldman, who's working towards a new deal, and Akeem Hicks, who we rewarded, who's a Pro Bowl talent there. I think on offense, you're putting in a new philosophy, a whole new scheme, but where you see youth and inexperience, I see untapped potential and willingness to mold and conform to a new football coach with new methodology and new format.
I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is terrified with your little speech right now. I'm sure he's taking a crap in his drawers. He's taking a crap in his drawers with your untapped potential BS. And I saw this, and I have connections. I'm sure that he's got diarrhea right now. He's snorting liquidy.
Well, he's on the offensive side of football. Right. He's going to have to contest himself with a defense that has locked Aaron Rodgers down somewhat, that has played well against him. Let's not forget, Vic Fangio has had Rodgers' number. So you look back on Thanksgiving Eve and the Bears pulled and upset the world, so to speak. I don't think anybody but Mike North had you locked in on the Bears winning that game. So I'm going to tell you right now, Mike.
I'm trying to remember the last 6-7 years where Rodgers was getting his ass beat by the Bears.
I didn't say
I really am.
I'm
sorry. I'm really having trouble with that recall because every time I looked up, I thought they were losing.
Yeah, Mel Tucker and company. Yeah, I'm just
trying to remember though. I must have missed the big wins that Aaron Rodgers was giving the Chicago Bears all these years. I don't know. I know they had a win.
Mike, the Bears beat the Packers just as many times as Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins won in the playoffs.
The Packers went to the playoffs. The Packers go to the playoffs. The Bears don't. For the most part, if Rodgers
and that's where we open. What kind of litmus test is better than this?
Exactly.
Well, there isn't any, guys. I agree with you. There isn't. But here's what you got. You got 4 or 5 win talent. And I want you guys to wake up. I seriously do.
I don't agree with it at all. I totally disagree.
So where you got them winning the division or second or third? Where you got them?
I really believe they have an opportunity in this division to win it. And that's not fanboy bullshit. I'm talking about athletic talent on the offensive side of the football.
A fanboy wouldn't even say they'd win the division. A fanboy wouldn't even say they'd win the division. I don't think a fanboy would say right now.
I said they're gonna compete to win the division. Mark it in the bank.
I'm marking it down. I'll mark it down. Aldo, put it in the positive column. The Bears are winning the division, for God's sake.
Let me ask you this, Mike. You led off your glorious speech with 1 Pro Bowler. I got you to 2. So the one Pro Bowler.
No, you said he had Pro Bowl, and you just said he had Pro Bowl potential. I'm willing to buy into that, but don't use that for your argument.
Pro Bowl. He's the most underappreciated defensive football player.
If the Queen had balls, she'd be king. Okay?
Well, if the Bears had wins, he'd be in the Pro Bowl.
Well, that's true, and that's part of the equation. I don't disagree with you on that.
That's a John Fox issue and a dumbass Dowell Loggins issue.
And
okay, we'll find out. We'll find
that's
out.
what I'm saying.
You just told me. Hold on. You just told me.
Finish.
You made him sound like Carl Eller.
Okay. One last point. On your
I'm glad I'm a guest on the show tonight.
On your Pro Bowl guy. On your Pro Bowl guy. Jordan Howard outside moving moving defenders outside the box and less predictable is only going to escalate this kid's ability to dominate the way he did. And I say that knowing that defense is prepared all week to stop him because of Dowell's stupidity and a rookie quarterback, and they couldn't.
All right, listen, the coaches are gone now, okay?
Exactly.
You won't have them to push around anymore. When they lose now, when they start losing this year, I want to hear what your excuse is going to be then. That's what I want to hear, because I'm going to be with you all year long. It's going to be a long year for you.
I'm fucking ready, and I'm telling you, I'll be truthful of why they lost every week.
Mike, I got a question for you. If last year's coaching staff was retained and they were here this year, and the Bears still had the offseason they had with bringing in the guys they've brought in, and you're saying right now that they're a 4 or 5 win team with the new coaching staff, what are they with last year's on
probably
this current roster?
3, 4, or 5 win team. 4 or 5 win team.
So you're with Jeff Carter.
I must have missed the Matt Nagy thing. Matt Nagy's coming in now, and they're going to win 10, 11 games.
Coaching matters.
Here, let me tell you something. Do you know that no offensive coordinator last year who got a head coaching job in the last 5 years had a worse 6-game resume calling plays than he did? Did you know that? Or did you guys miss that?
I didn't know that.
Of course. Did you watch the playoffs?
He had a bad game. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, he did. He did have
he had
a bad game.
stretch. You know what? It's not good to trip over your feet when you meet the new boss.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this question. Because
I feel like I'm arguing with Bear management.
Because between the two of us, Mike, we've got, and this is the truth. Between the two of us, we've got 100 years of watching Chicago Bears football. You said you started watching early 60s.
So
I started in the late 60s. So how much of your opinion of the 2018 Bears is based on a lifetime of disappointment?
Oh, my God, 50% at least. I think because of who runs it. I'm not, and this is what I'm trying to tell the guys, that it's not really the talent. It's how they develop the talent. Who develops the talent? I mean, they had the Ditka years where they were unbelievable, where they had decent coaches. They were given an attitude adjustment and stuff like that. Nagy hopefully will do that. I worry about Nagy because he seems to be the player's friend. He's still in that assistant coach mode, and like Sean said earlier, even today, and Phil, there was a mix with the message. Shane, excuse me, there was a mix with the message. I didn't want to badmouth me after I hung up. Believe me, I don't need that. I really don't. I don't need the beating that I'm going to take. I've taken enough of a beating. But I think you guys would agree it's tough to be a friend of the players when you're in the head coaching. I'm hearing a little bit of that. And then today with his mixed message saying we don't want to make this public, but then there's an issue. So he's going to make some rookie mistakes. I think he'll get adjusted to being the head coach, but he's still he's learning too, just like the rest of them.
Right. Hey, Mike, what made the Rams better last year?
Jeff Fisher being gone.
And what are the Bears?
I mean, I hate to put it that way, but it looks like his coaching technique, whatever he did, he only had a few years where he was decent. He was a good political guy. It seems like he got good jobs. But I think the coaching thing changed, and maybe that's what's going to happen with this guy, with Nagy, or you hope that it does. But like the poll says, and maybe the public's ignorant to this, maybe the Bears, hey, nobody would be happier than me. If the Bears win 10, 11 games, it makes Bears Barroom better. It makes all these shows better. It makes everything else better. So it would be great.
Even if they win 8 games, Mike, or 7 or 8 games, that's a monumental leap from where we've been every year. And if the Bears went out and went 8-8 with a chance to go 9-7, I don't think that's a I think that's a great place to be for them.
I do
as young
too.
as they are with a new staff.
I do too. I think that they keep their health, and I don't want to look at the last thing we want them to do is win 4 or 5 games. I think if they can get 6, 7, 8, if they go 8-8, that's a huge year for them. For a coach in his first year with a whole new coaching staff, and you know what? Hopefully Smith will be signed so they can start concentrating on that because he's going to be a starter, isn't he, guys? I mean, they're giving him all this money.
No doubt about it.
Without it. Yeah, they need him out there. He's a healthy young body and stuff like that. So, I mean, for us, we need it. For Bear Barroom, we need it.
The only thing you've been right about is that, Mike.
I don't know.
Here we go.
I am right. Listen. When you guys wanted Cutler for 3 more years, I was saying they should have never signed him. Believe me, I got so many skins on the wall. I'm like Davy Crockett. I don't know which skin you have to take. You know what I'm saying?
Receipts with BG too, or
oh boy.
Do you keep receipts?
Knows me as Bears girl, not BG.
Hey, Mike, are you watching Very Cavallari with Jay?
With Jay Cutler?
No, but all the Bear ball washers and the Cutler ball washers who wanted them to be so successful on the field seem to think that this mob is a star, and I guarantee you 2 guys are 2 of the guys that think that. Believe me.
You know, Phil's the Cutler guy. Phil's the Cutler guy here, not me.
Oh, Phil, of course.
I was the Cutler guy. I just supported him. I don't watch Very Cavallari. I said it on the show. I could give 2 fucks about Cutler right now. Seriously.
I'll tell you what.
I don't even talk about him, but I stood up for what I saw on tape. He was talented.
He's a mope.
That's it. My father said the same thing.
He can't even listen. I don't know. I know his sugar is low. I don't know what the issue is. But, I mean, this guy can't get together. I mean, it's like an energized second. I mean, he looks exhausted all the time. He's a young guy, nothing but money. He should be having the time of his life. He looks miserable.
I would be too if I was on that show every fucking week.
Listen to Bear Girl going off.
I watch the show.
She watches.
She's our historian of the show, Mike.
Yep.
The historian of the Bears.
She can name all the characters.
She's our Argonauts historian.
Now listen, believe me, many a cold night when I was chasing the man, many a cold night back in my lucid days, I was looking at the good old Canadian Football League scoreboard at times. The Edmonton Eskimos, the Toronto Argonauts, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Are you kidding me? The Montreal Alouettes. My God, I've cried when I've lost with Canadian teams with that big ass field.
Johnny Manziel starting Friday night.
He's starting.
Breaking my fucking news. Thank you so much, Shane.
I was just going
to cheer her up, I thought the kid, I was so wrong about him. He had me buffaloed.
Ooh, not me.
Me and you both, Mike.
I thought he was the second coming. See, I always believed in Flutie. And Flutie, people didn't believe in Flutie. And I always believed in him. I said, listen to me. I don't care how big that kid is. I just saw him throw like a 70-yard pass against the Miami Hurricanes with pressure on him, okay?
Yep.
I don't want to hear it. And then they drafted Rob Johnson from the Buffalo Bills. And every time they bring in different quarterbacks. Lohman. Are you kidding me? Doug Flutie was a damn good quarterback. He was good.
I agree.
No, I'm not a Manziel ball washer, and I don't eat Flutie Flakes. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to sit here and stroke these guys. But no, I was never a Manziel fan. You know what made them different? Doug Flutie was a good man. He was a good person off the field. Johnny Manziel was an asshole.
Absolutely true.
That's what did it.
Absolutely.
And you know what,
I mean, they
Mike,
did it good. Yeah.
You're right. You're right about Cutler, because being in titles and having that kind of disposition, I had to admit it to my dad. I go, you were right. This guy he used the exact term as you. That's a mope right there. So
yeah, he was the face of your franchise.
And he didn't care.
The guy, and he didn't care. It was unbelievable. I mean, to the point where he wouldn't give the fans an explanation. I never liked the guy. I said, Denver doesn't get rid of good quarterbacks. They don't. I said, if they got a guy, I mean, they're willing to give Jake Plummer a chance. But if he doesn't work out, they'll get rid of him too. So when they got rid of Cutler at 26 or 25, I go, whoa.
Yeah.
They're going to sucker a team, man.
He you know what,
though?
Talented.
That's okay.
So talented.
He was Jake Plummer. He was another Jake Plummer type. He really was. I mean, I like Jake Plummer too, but he'd make the wrong reads. He'd throw interceptions at the wrong time, just like Cutler did. They had everybody can't be great. I mean, everybody can't be great.
Sounds like you're describing Stafford and Cousins right there.
I love my guy. True. Shane's getting ready. Shane's got the swords out. He wants a sword fight with
Shane has been ready all week.
I mean, my God, he's got the sword on the grinding wheel.
Yeah.
Sharpening it up for me.
What's up with the fucking Vikings? Like, you haven't had a quarterback for stability in the 1 year to the next for the last, Shane, 7 years?
They've had 6 different starting quarterbacks the last 6 seasons.
Exactly. They've gotten close, but just like you said, close don't count, you fucks. So now you got now you got this kid Cousins.
He does.
This kid Cousins. What has he done, Mike? I mean, you threw a bunch of guaranteed money. This guy sounds like he's a baseball pitcher for the fucking Cubs.
I'll tell you what.
Everything's guaranteed. We're balling out with Cousins. I don't know, Mike. To me,
easy with the Cubs stuff, New York boy. I just watched your boy Steven Matz get torched like a pinata tonight from the Mets. Okay, so don't even go there. Okay. Anyway, but I'm going to tell you, you're right, Kirk Cousins. It's going to be interesting, and you guys know this. That league there, I mean, that division with Rodgers, Stafford, Cousins, and Trubisky. That's a good quarterback division, and there's going to be a lot of competition. We hope the Bear defense can get the job done, but. Man, Cousins, they've thrown money. Bradford was the dumb one.
Oh
Bradford is the guy that made more money than anybody.
Glass Joe.
Right. Yeah, he's the worst. Just absolutely brutal, Sam Bradford. And he always had a taker, always had a sucker that was going to give him money. And from Philadelphia to Minnesota, I mean, you name it, he's been there, So, he's gone. I like Cousins for his stability. He's stable. We'll see what happens. They didn't do bad last year with the quarterbacks they had with Case Keenum. So this kid's supposed to be a step up. At least that's what he'll tell everybody. But you're right. What has he done? He made Washington a little bit respectful, but it's not just his fault over there. Gruden's had some good years, some bad years, so it's weird.
He throws a lot of picks in critical situations.
If the NFL game was 3 quarters long, he'd be fantastic. That fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah, he folds like a tent at the Grateful Dead concert when it's over.
Oh, listen to my guy called Grateful Dead. I was grateful. I was grateful when they died.
No,
I got an Aldo like that one. I know Aldo's in the control board right now, just finding things on the ground.
Aldo looks like Jerry Garcia, right?
Yeah.
Aldo's ready. Hey, Aldo's better looking than Jerry Garcia.
Hell yeah.
Aldo and I were down. Aldo and I were eating at Big Angels today in Arlington Heights.
We
put some brisket away.
Have you heard Gandia play the piano yet, Mike?
No, but I don't trust the guy that takes a big sandwich home with him.
That guy is so talented. You got to hear him.
You took a
Amazing.
sandwich
Aldo,
home
are they
with him?
playing with me? Are they playing with me?
Yeah, they're definitely playing. Listen, Mike and I had lunch at this place. What was the name of that place by Arlington?
Big Angels.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. The food there, the beef. He had beef brisket, had an Italian beef. My beef tasted so good that I wanted to enjoy half of it here at home, which I did for dinner.
No, I gotta be honest with you. I've never had a man like of your ilk, a successful, rugged man, say I'm going to take care of my beef. I really haven't. I was a little disturbed when I got in the car. I almost went left on Northwest Highway instead of right. I was a little disturbed, but then, Aldo, I was just a little. I go, where are you going with the beef? Well, then he says what'd you have? He had a salmon bagel.
Yeah, I had a salmon bagel for breakfast, right?
What'd you have, a salmon bagel?
Yes,
A salmon bagel? What do you mean, lox?
Lox, yeah. What do you call it? Lox, salmon,
salmon
whatever.
bagel. That sounds
Listen,
like
I can't stand fish as it is, but on my bagel, forget about it. No way.
Hey, we got North on board. We might have to revisit this Gandia thing. Do we want to move forward with him on board eating like this?
Taking doggy
Listen, we should get together for a staff. We should get together Big Ange's for a staff bet. I paid $10 for like 2 chunks about the size of a candy bar. I'll beef brisket in a cup.
Oh,
I felt like I was violated, right, Aldo? Like, while I was I go, what's this? He goes, that's what your food is. Like, oh, okay, good. It was good.
So this is what I'm in for this weekend when I'm in town?
Yeah.
Great.
Are you in town?
I am.
This coming weekend,
Man,
going to have a party.
That should be against the law, for God's sake, there, girl being in town. Are you kidding me?
Are you going
Coming in from Toronto?
Are you going to Bears camp at all, Mike?
I went to bear camp every year. At Bourbonnais, I did a remote. I was smoking a cigar. They almost threw me off the camp. I go, for what? They go, put your cigar out. I go, you must be kidding me. We're doing a show here. They go, well, we're in charge of Olivet Nazarene, and there's no smoking allowed on the campus. I go, oh my God.
Are you serious?
No. So I had to put the cigar out.
Oh,
and
my God.
But then I got to know the natives. That's during my drinking days. I loved all those bars. I had a good time.
Hey,
we had, and Platteville was great with Ditka. Oh my God, Platteville was out. And then lacrosse. I went to lacrosse when he got hired by the Saints, and they pissed the station off. They wanted me to go with the Bears. I go, I'm going with Ditka. So I ended up out there with the Saints. I'm interviewing Heath Schuler, for God's sake. You know, I mean, it wasn't exact. Yeah, it wasn't very captivating, but it was fun.
Hey, let me. Speaking of Olivet Nazarene,
there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm taking notes.
He was eating his sandwich.
Right
Yeah,
now.
He's now licking his finger.
You know what? I love Aldo, but I thought he was going to ask the woman to cut it in threes. He's like my little brother now. We're like, because we're about 100. Yeah, we're about 190 years old combined. So. I'm a little older than he is.
Here's the funny thing. We walk into this place, and a guy hands us this big sample piece of beef brisket, and Mike looks at me and says, you're not one of them vegetarians, are you?
And you know what was funny? That sample he handed me was bigger than the actual food that I got in the cup.
That's true.
I'm telling you, it was a great place. Big Ange's is great. I recommend it highly. I had a good time. They have good hot dogs, good beefs. They have good beef brisket. And stuff like that. We had a good time.
Yeah, it was a very
good time.
good
And Aldo took half the sandwich home.
I want to play a clip from that I heard the other day on WSCR, your former home, Mike. It was Dan McNeil talking about the rules that they have at Olivet Nazarene, and that the players and coaching staff don't have access to porn at the campus there. And so listen to Dan McNeil tell this story real quickly here.
Yeah, you can't have alcohol or tobacco on Olivet Nazarene property. And it was trouble for one Bears assistant coach a few years ago. You can't get internet porn if you're staying in the dorms either.
I don't even think I think you have to watch your language, too, I would imagine.
The site is blocked, yes.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of Mike Tice.
I'll tell you what, it was very strict. I'm smoking the cigar, and they're going, put the cigar out. I go, who are you talking to? I turned around. They go, you. I go, we're giving you a big show here right on your campus. They go, that doesn't matter. We have rules here. Then to drink, they can't. They watch where they go. And I mean, the Bears were out more than the kids. So it was fun, but Platteville was the place to go. Platteville was where we had a great time. It was a great time in Platteville.
Yeah, it was. So listen, I'm listening to you, Mike, and you've become one of the top handicappers in the country, and so you're telling me to take the under on the Bears winning?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not yet. I will have all this stuff up once when's the page coming up? In a week or something.
Your page,
I got
about a week. Correct.
Yeah. I know. Just take your time. I'm over here by the site, but I'm going to be doing some videos. BB's going to send the email, and then I'm going to be giving some pics out on the deal too. Hopefully, I'll be doing some other project, but this deal here is important to me. You guys are all good guys. You love the Bears. I love the Bears. I grew up loving them. I mean, we couldn't wait till the first media guides came out. We used to go to Standard Oil. My uncle would drive us there, and they'd have the Bear media guides out in the six, and that's how you knew what the numbers of the players were. And each year, the same players were on the team, much to our chagrin. Yeah. Now it can change a little bit. Oh yeah, Buffon and Butkus and Sayers and 1-13. We were stuck with like 3 great players and like 50 lousy players. Yeah, exactly. 3 of the, I mean, Sayers and Butkus, probably the best 2 number 1 picks of all time. Of all time by one team, without a doubt.
Yeah. And it was amazing that Hallis signed them and didn't let them go somewhere else. I guess the AFL offered Butkus more money or something like that, and Butkus decided to go with the Bears.
Yeah. When the AFL offered Buffon, San Diego offered Buffon more money than the Bears, but at that time, the NFL was the place to go. The Kansas City Chiefs came after Gale Sayers. The AFL wasn't where it should be yet. I mean, the name of years hadn't hit, 68, 69, 70. It was still 65 and 66.
Hey, Mike, before we let you go, Draft Dr. Phil has been running this fun poll on Twitter where he's asking fans to select the player that best represents the number that they wore. But there have been a couple of omissions that have really bugged you, and it's now as the Bears Barroom.
Well, the other day I'm looking for number 44, Terry Schmidt. I know Terry. Terry's still a dentist in the Chicagoland area, for God's sake, and he'd be hurt. He was a pretty damn good corner. He was the last of the white corners, if you will, him and Jason Sehorn back in the day. Yeah. So he wasn't a bad corner. And there's been other guys, but not a lot, but there's been a couple. Yeah. And you know what? And I'm sure that you guys take, and then the other day you were cute, Aldo. Well, it's about after the Super Bowl. You know it had nothing to do with that. You know that Schmidt was forgotten. You know it, but you covered for your guys, and that's why you're a great boss. So now who's tomorrow?
Number 39.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't have any good 39s.
Jeremy Lincoln.
Who is that?
I love Jeremy Lincoln. He was good for a couple years. Lincoln? Yeah, he was like Shane's type of ball player. He was Shane's type of ball player. Good for 2 years.
Oh, man.
Phil's going to put Curtis Enos up on the poll, though, Mike.
Curtis Enos.
Curtis Enos was the worst.
Yeah,
Curtis Enos. I picked him.
Talk about
him to be Jimmy Brown. I thought I was going to be, I love that guy, and I thought he's going to be like a Jimmy Brown type.
I was so pissed when I wanted them to take Randy Moss so bad, but I knew the off-field stuff, and he stood up Walter on a breakfast get together.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
and you know what?
Yeah.
Steve McNown was a bad call by me, and millions of others too. Even Ditka said he was more football ready than any quarterback going. He sucked. Yeah. So
well, he's another kid that
when you're around long enough,
yeah.
you'll make your mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I want to get back to the Bears real quick, Aldo, and just say, one thing I'm giving this fucking guy some praise right now. The one thing you're right about, this has been, whether you want to believe it or not, has been a 180 in talent and offensive philosophy and coaching. The offseason has everything you could have ever asked for and prayed for. And then to have this transpire has been a total egg on the face, a clown pie. They look like fools, Mike. So, yes, you're right about that.
Yeah.
And
they look like idiots. They're making the kid out like a bad kid.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? And his agent? Come on.
I didn't even think of that, Mike. But your point tonight is resonating with me about how about that kid's feelings. Think about this. You go to a Chinese buffet. Are they going to tell you got to stop at 3 plates? No. You don't take away. You guaranteed that you can go up there as many times as you fucking want. So to say, listen, you drop a fucking plate, you're done. We're not going to let you go up. You can't take away guaranteed money. It's just disgusting.
First of all, it's cruel to bring up a Chinese buffet when I'm on a diet, number one. Number two, I'm going to say this. I used to go to the Sawa's old Polish buffet over on Harlem Avenue. I used to be there. And man, we used to load up the plates. But you know what? And you know, the buffet. The only problem with the buffet, you get the one straggler that stops the line a little bit. But other than that,
that would be Aldo.
Yeah, that's Gandia. That's Gandia getting the doggy bag there. Yeah.
I'm not going to say nothing. Aldo and I are going out again next week. You know what? I'm so happy to be with you guys. I really am, and I don't know what. I think I'm going to be on the show with Aldo Friday. Is that the way we're going to do it, Aldo?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do videos.
We're talking
we have
about
no
that.
other idea what we're doing. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to come up with some really good, entertaining
You
stuff.
have a
for our
segment
fans.
on my show every week if you want.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be, we're going to face off.
Phil beats me up too much. Phil
Bears
beats me up.
all
Maybe
night
Bear Girl.
live.
Maybe I could do a segment with Bear Girl. Because Phil and Gene beat the crap out of me. I don't need it. I don't need it. I got my eyes are blackened. My lip is screwed up. Come on.
We send her questions to ask you so you can answer.
Hey, there's nothing healthier than debate, and that's what we're all about here.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. We
That's
have a
what
good
makes it
time.
good.
Absolutely. Hey, I got
feel
an
great
idea.
to be a part of Bears Barroom.
I got an idea. How about if, Mike, you come on Bears Hour Live on Monday night, and you give us the over-under on how many times Phil is going to say the F word on Bears 100 Proof.
Yeah, that's got to stop. What is with your mouth? My God. You got a young lady here with us, for God's sake. What's wrong with you?
You'll get to know me real well. real soon.
You didn't hear her drop the F-bomb. Come on, Mike.
She's teaching us how to swear in Canadian. Like crazy. Girl's a potty mouth.
French Canadian.
So everything at the end is A. Everything at the end. Hey, how you doing, eh?
Yeah,
Colorado's a beautiful town. I stayed at the Sky Dome once. It was fun. Yeah, the Sky Dome is cool.
Yeah,
the Sky Dome
it is cool.
The White Sox, in fact, I was with the White Sox. We went to Toronto. They were up in the hotel bar already. I mean, you know, the hotel's right there. It was hilarious. You know, David Wells getting hammered at about 4 in the afternoon.
Former Yankee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, former White Sox.
That's
He was fun with the White Sox. He was fun with the White Sox. He really was.
He was a good guy.
But we're all about Bears, guys, and let's
Yes,
hope they have
we
a good
are.
season. And although we're gonna get this baby, we're gonna get this. Oh, Jeff Schwartz is gonna be joining us also. Jeff was a guy that was involved. He thought up Disco Demolition Night, and he also was the scores marketing guy. So he's gonna help me out with some stuff too on the page and stuff. So if you guys need to tap his brain, he's pretty good. He really is.
Jeff, if you're listening, welcome to the team. I'm anxious to meet you face to face and kick around some ideas. And Mike, we love you dearly. You are, as I said the very first time that we had you on the show, when you came on to argue with us that Allen Robinson was a terrible free agent signing. We told you
to pick Jordy Nelson.
We told
Is he still around? Is he still playing?
Jordy is with
this year?
Jordy's with the Raiders, I believe, right?
Yeah, they're going to have a pretty good year.
Yeah,
they're going to have a pretty good year. I'm looking forward to the Allen Robinson Jordy Nelson matchup.
Oh yeah, we got that bet. You and Shane.
No, it's
What is
Allen
that bet,
Robinson. It's Allen Robinson and Cam Meredith.
Oh, that's
I
right.
thought it was Jordy Nelson.
That's
My
No,
bad.
no.
I don't want to get it twisted.
I took Cam Meredith.
Yes.
I would take, if Cam Meredith was in my backyard, I'd shut the drapes. I took Cam Meredith. Are you kidding me?
You did. You said you didn't like Allen. You said you didn't like Allen No, he said he didn't like Allen Robinson.
I thought it was all about Jordy Nelson, wasn't it?
No.
It was about Jordy Nelson.
You said this
All
is.
I know is Aldo took food home from
Yeah.
Aldo
Mike,
took
you
a
said
half
you
a big
didn't.
sandwich home. I looked at him wearily.
Mike, you said you didn't like Allen Robinson because he blew out his ACL, so you took Cam Meredith, who ripped 3 ligaments.
You're right. You're lying. You're high. I want to hear the
Nope.
tape. This
We
man is
do.
out of his mind.
We're going to drop it right in.
It was
We've got
Cam.
the tape.
We've got the tape.
I do remember. I would like to make that. I would like to change it because I don't even care about that. I'd walk over 3 seconds. I don't care what he does. I'd like to take Jordy Nelson in that little deal since I thought the big argument was I thought the Bears could use an experienced receiver because they don't have anybody. And they really don't. This experience, they had the 1 year from Robinson, but they only have 325 plays between the 4 of them.
Yeah, that
scary.
was. I think that's how we got onto it, and then you said, "Well, in fact, I think the kid that we lost in New Orleans will have a better year than Allen Robinson.
Well, he's got Drew Brees thrown to him. He's got Drew Brees
You got to
thrown to him.
stick with your bet, Mike. You don't come on this fucking show.
I've had enough of Shane.
All right.
I really have. I've had enough of it. I can't wait. I'm going to get off the phone. He's going to beat the hell out of me some more. I know he is.
That took 90 minutes. Okay.
When me, Shane, and Bears Girl come into town, we all take and eat our whole plate, Mike.
Yeah, we will.
We'll go to Big Angus. We'll go to Big Angus. Me and Aldo will buy for the staff.
Absolutely.
Hey, by the way, Aldo's the best. Aldo, we've had some fun. He came out to the house, too, right?
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Came out to the house, dude. Saw Pappy Land. Man,
we had some fun.
I got to tell you that Bears Barroom is so damn lucky. We've had a string of fabulous luck, and now to have this agreement with Mike North to be a part of Bears Barroom and to have such a significant role in what we're doing. Let's face it, guys, gambling is going to spread throughout the country with this new legislation, and Mike, who has become one of the best handicappers in the business, is going to do it here on Bears Barroom. Holy cow.
Right.
And not only that, but the guy...
And we're going to get our... We all got to work on getting our... We all back each other on social media. You know, we put and you guys do a great job. You guys are on Twitter all the time. And
Still waiting for Mike at the movies to follow me back, but
he just did tonight. He followed me, and I haven't even blocked him yet.
I did. I followed you guys tonight because I knew I was going to be on and you'd ask me that question.
And Mike,
Mike's been following me for months.
I know.
You know that? Well, that would have happened no matter what. All right, that's the way it's going to be.
Mike, you do have impeccable timing.
I follow Bar Girl or Phil. You know.
Where I don't gotta follow from Mike North.
Mike, you do have impeccable timing because I said we've spent most of our day today trying to lock in Tommy Harris as a guest. So
Let me tell you, Tommy Harris is one of the greatest 2-year defensive players I've ever seen.
Hall of Fame quality.
2 years in 7th grade. I was really good in 7th grade my second year. Believe me. But guys, I'm excited to be here, and Aldo and I are going to probably talk 2 or 3 times a week, right, Aldo?
Absolutely.
You're going to be sick of me, so.
Well, Mike, we gotta have you back on 100 Proof. I mean, you talk the truth. You bring no BS. You got your own
I'll come in
song
anytime
now.
you want to. Hey, listen.
That's it.
Hey, I gotta be on. I'm involved in this thing now. What am I going to
call
do?
you Mike's Corner.
You call me whatever you want, you East Coast bastard. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Getting the rivalry going.
No, I'm past the rivalry. I passed the rivalry stages. I just want to see us kick some booty and get better with and the shows and everything. I got the schedule of the shows. All the shows are great. So it's going to be a good time. And Aldo spent a lot. You guys have been, Aldo, 5 years, right?
5
Total?
years I've been doing this now. Yeah. According to there's another website called the Bears blog. I think that's what they're called. And they think we're going to fold within 18 months, Mike. What do you got to say to those guys?
Listen, they told me the score was going to fold in 6 months. It's been there 26 years.
How about
it? Yeah. So, you're not folding. Nobody's folding. We're going to just get stronger. That's all.
They don't even eat hot dogs at the Bears blog either, Mike. Can you believe that bullshit?
What do they eat? Healthy food?
Yeah.
The Green
Bay might be the biggest Bears ball washers.
Yeah, the main guy over there is the salad shooter guy. He's all vegetarian and crazy.
You got to have some meat.
He doesn't even take doggy bags.
No.
You got to eat meat.
He takes
you
lettuce
have
home
some meat.
bags.
And you know what? Aldo ate that beef when he got home. So that's gone.
That sucker is gone.
Guys, I'm on my way.
All right, Mike North, thanks very much.
Aldo, thanks.
We love you.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
We're excited,
See you
Mike.
guys.
Love
Thanks,
you,
Mike.
brother. You are the family now, Mike.
Dreams. He started selling hot dogs and he's on the show. You know that all that Mikey knows. He might tell you that he never learned
So Mike told me the other day, so why is it that Shane starts bad-mouthing as soon as I hang up when I call him? So Shane, it's all yours.
Shane, you have anything to say?
No, that all started because I explained why he blocked me after he got off the air. Remember, my phone call dropped. And then Aldo said, I thought you were going to bring it up. And I said, well, yeah, I would have. But no, I was the one that was blocked by Mike North here out of all of us.
Yeah, that's true.
He unblocked me. And like I said, he's part of the family now. So we're moving forward with this. And it's going to be exciting. That's for damn sure.
We're not going to take Mike's shit either.
So, I noticed.
As you can see right off the bat, I couldn't let Akeem go. So, Akeem, if you're listening, and Barflies, I have Akeem's back. I know some of you are probably saying, what about Amos, this one? And I just had to point out the obvious in that.
And in true Aldo fashion, he's got to play the audio for Akeem and for Tommy Harris now. When they come on the show, when he played my audio for Grody, it's only fair, right?
That's initiation tradition at Bears Barroom.
I got to tell you something. When Mike North is on with us, there's a certain electricity. With what we're doing, it's just so much fun. I mean, this guy is a blast. Whether you love him or you hate him, and there are some people in town that hate him. You know, but if you
sounds like us,
that's right.
He fits right in now.
Right,
he fits right in.
So if no matter what you feel about the guy, all you got to do is listen to him, and you will be entertained because the guy brings it. And I'm so excited that he's chosen. Because he had other choices. He could have gone just about anywhere to do what he's going to do at the barroom, and he chose us. And he chose us because of Bears Girl, because of Shane, because of Phil, because of the great work of Nikki Kurtz and recruiting him to come on, because of all of the other Barflies. So we are very, very fortunate, and I'll tell you, this is a historic day for Bears Barroom, and I am gassed, man. I am gassed.
Can I make a request, Aldo?
Yes,
when you go back through and you're putting in the drops, when Phil says that he's got sources too, and Mike says, "Oh, good for you." You just got to do the I don't give a fuck. You got to drop that one in there. I damn near pissed my pants.
You got it.
Aldo, too, I want to say one thing quick before Mike. No,
I don't give a fuck.
I think Mike said it best. You're not giving yourself a pat on the back, so I will step in for the team and say, obviously, the professionalism and the belief and the very foundation of where the show is because of your constant grind and 5 years believing in what this is and where we're going, and believing in me and Shane the way you did, and thus also believing in my crazy antics and songs and all that shit. So I don't think Mike's here without you, brother. So
absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very
much. I
much.
want to say that. And I also want to say, Mike, I'm ecstatic. Shane's 100%. Bring on the debate, because I believe Mike is wrong about a lot. I think he's right about the McCaskies and the organization and ruining what could have been. And that's unfortunate, because we all know this was the greatest offseason in my lifetime in regards to the direction this football team, and had you right on the ropes. They had the knockout punch. They could have just sent this out and been right in the right direction. And now you got to deal with this distraction. And he's right about that. Mm-hmm. With a first-year head coach, not going to lie, it really is disheartening.
It is. It really, really
is. We got worse.
I don't know how he came up with that.
Hey, and here's another thing that Mike told me today. He told me, I really like Bears Girl a lot. You got to get her own show. And so
I do not need my own show.
Why not? I think it would be
God,
great.
no.
Hello, Bears Girls fans. Look, Bears Girls live. You don't even know what we're going to talk about today, but it's fucking great, eh?
We should run a poll and see if Bears Girl should have her own
That's
show on the
why.
network. And you know what? We should call it breaking news.
We interrupt this programming to bring you breaking news. Bears Barroom's 100 proof breaking news.
I want you guys reacting to Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet's tweet earlier today that the Packers coach Mike McCarthy said linebacker Jake Ryan is still undergoing tests, but a source said the fear is a serious knee injury, as well as safety Kentrell Bryce. X-rays were negative for a break, but we will not know his timetable until the swelling goes down.
That's what I have to say about that.
Well, I got to tell you that's a significant injury. I haven't followed the Packers as closely as I have in the past when I was doing the NFC North, but that team has had inside linebacker problems for years, and Jake Ryan was supposed to be one of the major parts, major ingredients, and so they may have to move Clay Matthews back into the inside, and so that's going to hurt their pass rush. That's going to hurt their, there were a couple of games where Matthews was at inside linebacker where I think there was one game where he had 0 tackles, 0 assists, and there was another game where he had 1. So it's not like he loves playing that inside linebacker position, and so they're going to lose a lot with Ryan out of the lineup, and that's going to bode really well for Jordan Howard week 1.
You're 100% speaking the sauce, brother. That's exactly what I thought when I saw the injury pop up, and your history lesson there is great too, because one thing I notice about Clay don't like 335-pound guards getting up on him. He gets pissed off. He plays reckless and careless. He false steps. He's not good inside. I mean, he's a great football player, very good football player, was a great football player. I think you're 100% right. That helps the Bears. It helps Jordan Howard. It helps the offensive line because you're right, Aldo. Just think of us being down a linebacker like you are. It's hurting us right now. Yeah. So that's a big injury there, more so than I think, especially with Pettin, Shane going over there, replacing Capers, being their new DC and trying to bring a more aggressive style. You just lost the quarterback of your defense.
Maybe they can put one of their 47 corners that they've drafted for the last 3 years, put him in the middle.
They do have a lot of corners.
And I think that correct me if I'm wrong, Bears Girl, there was another injury with the Packers. I think it was safety Kentrell Bryce.
Yeah, she said that.
She said it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. I apologize. Now, this kid, I followed him when he first
want her to have her own fucking show, and you can't.
Welcome to Bears Girl Land.
Can I get a doggy bag over here?
He's never going to live this down.
No, I am going to be watching him all weekend, and if he asks for a doggy bag, I'm knocking it out of his hand.
That Italian beef was so damn good, man.
My God.
I wasn't going to leave that last
He's at the game. Shane, he's at the ballpark. Can I take a hot dog to go?
Yeah, you know he hoovered that fucker in the parking lot. He just didn't want to make a pig of himself in front of the Anybody looking, he's fucking pounding.
That sucker was gone by the time I got home.
Is that why you were chewing when you called me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Lauren Cox.
Speaking of blue, speaking of chewing. Speaking of a soft defense in Green Bay, are you feeling soft at home? Well, if that's true, then blue chew.
Are you soft down the middle?
Yeah. Is your beef that's in a cup a little soft?
Wow.
But one quick thing about...
We're never getting that sponsor plug.
They'll love us. What are you talking about?
This is total marketing.
One quick thing about Kentrell Bryce, that kid showed a lot of promise in his rookie season. He tested so well at the combine. Why he went undrafted was beyond me, and I saw him in preseason games. That kid has a future. And now if he's gone out of that secondary, I know that the Packers have invested a lot in their secondary with draft picks the last 2 years. But if Kentrell is gone, that's going to really hurt their safeties. And again, it bodes well for the Bears in Week 1. And Mike McCarthy has never done a good job of preparing for the Bears when they've brought in a new coach. He doesn't have the film. He doesn't have the research. McCarthy is one of those guys that really needs that support system of looking at tape and so forth. So he's going to go in there. Matt Nagy's got a great opportunity here to just surprise that Packers defense, take advantage of their weaknesses, and the Bears, I still contend, are going to steal that Week 1 game. We need to get our man in here. You know who he is. Let me dial him up.
I thought we had another guest.
She had a mix-up with her schedule and wasn't able to make it, but she is reconfirmed for next Tuesday night.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Paige will join us next week, and we welcome her with open arms.
Yeah. Bears Barroom, 100 proof.
Steak and whiskey. The Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey. That Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey. That Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey. That Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Who needs pussy? That Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Who needs pussy?
Come on, barflies.
They need fans, they know they do. They need pussy. The Bears Barroom vibe just hits me.
Yeah, you love that steak and that fucking whiskey. Coming from the colonel of the barflies, busy. He looks at the frauds in the media, the ones that need and don't get pussy like chlamydia. Bears 100 proof with your man Trey Busy. Discover who needs pussy cause the football take is shitty. Chi-Town's finest coming real on 100 proof. Working on a skyscraper, listen to the bar. Spit the truth, waffle cone, get 3 scoops. A writer, not a blogger cause he can bench the weight room. That's my boy Trey Biz, dropping truth on these suckers for the barfly whiz kids.
Steak and whiskey. The Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey.
That music means only one thing, and that is that Alec Lifschultz, a.k.a. Trey Busy, is in the house, and that also means that men are cowering in the corners and women are taking their panties off and throwing them at Trey.
Give him a hand, everybody.
Say a Lord.
We got Mike North as a member of the Barroom, but we have had Trey Busy for the longest time, and he's become a national treasure all over the globe. Trey Busy, how are you?
What's going on tonight, everybody?
Oh, man, we are celebrating here. Mike North is imparting his wisdom on us, and the basically what he told us is don't bet on the Bears this season.
Basically the opposite of us.
Wait, did he see Anthony Miller at camp? Remember he was talking down Anthony Miller? He didn't know about him. Did he see him at camp?
Yeah, he hasn't seen any camp, but
he's not ready.
There's been nothing that's been positive coming out of there.
Oh my goodness, dude. Anthony Miller looks like the fucking second coming of somebody.
He does. He does.
We are going to win 4 games, people.
According to Mike North.
When in September?
Here, Trey, let me play a little clip of Mike North for you.
We're doomed.
It sounded like Air Chair.
That was Air Chair and Mike mixed.
Yeah, right.
Aldo is doing his producer tricks again, making us drunk.
That's right. So, Alec, how
someone
you doing,
spell this word for me.
Someone please spell this word for me.
Idiot.
Every one makes me laugh. Can I get one more? Ridiculous.
Oh my
It's ridiculous.
There you go.
Alec Lifschultz, how are you, brother? What's going on?
Me and BG had a conversation last week. I was gonna have my union rep contact you guys about not giving me work when there's work available for me. BG thought I was playing. I sent her a picture of his fucking business card. He thought it was a joke. I'm like, my fucking union rep. Give me some goddamn work if there's work available.
Yeah, and then you said you were going to own the bar room, and I let you know what you win if you, in fact, take the bar room. And what did you say?
I said, fuck that, I'm good.
He didn't know about Mike North then, so maybe he's going to change his mind. So
late.
Definitely keep it in, that motherfucker. Now, Mikey's the shit, man. I like Mike, man.
He's a great guy. Hey, Alec,
Gotta be ready to debate us, Trey.
Before
Sorry, Alec.
That's okay. Before we came on, Alec, I understand you were having an argument with some Texans fans. What was that all about?
Pretty much, I was on the timeline, man. I saw one of my guys saying something about it. He was talking shit about the Bears, and I just wanted to hop in there. You know, if somebody talks shit about the Bears, I want to at least hop in there and see what the fuck they're talking about. Come to find out, it's from Titans fans. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know Titans had fans. The Texans were talking about the most memorable moment in the Bears' history recently is losing the Super Bowl in 2006. I'm like, motherfucker, you guys haven't even been around long enough to have a history. What's your fucking most memorable moment? Fucking drafting Deshaun Watson? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you know,
We haven't done anything yet.
We've had some arguments now with fans from different teams, but probably most notably, it's got to be the Detroit Lions that have really been
fuck them, Aldo.
irritating us, right?
So in the chat room, Shane saw it in the chat room on Monday. I'm gonna say it again, people that didn't weren't in there. I was like, we're talking about the last time the Lions won playoff games. It was 1991, and I think before that it was 1957. I said, you mean to tell me the last time these motherfuckers won at least 2 playoff games to combine? Black people had their own water fountain and their own fucking. I was like, get the fuck out of here! Don't fucking talk to us no more.
You know what Lions fans are, Trey? They go to the fucking restaurant and they bring half their sandwich home. That's what they are. Fucking bag. That's what they are.
You won 1 playoff game since 1991. I was fucking 1 year old.
I just don't get how Lions fans it's like the Karate Kid scene. The Lions fans aren't the kid who got beat by the Italian kid. What was his name? Ralph Macchio.
Get him a body
Danielson.
bag.
Yeah, the give him a body bag guy is the Detroit Lions. The guy who's talking so much shit with 7 black dudes in front of him protecting him. He's like, yeah,
AJ.
take that.
AJ. Got a cold.
Oh, boy.
That's the Lion fan.
They're
They're always talking shit in the corner.
We met some interesting ones, didn't we, Aldo, when we were there last year?
Yeah, you know what? I gotta give it to the Lions fans though. When we were walking out, despite the fact that the Lions kicked our butts, I had a number of Lions fans look at me and said, "You guys have a quarterback now. You guys have a quarterback." And those select fans that said that to me, obviously they know football, because even though Mitch did not have a good game, they knew that this guy has the talent to succeed, and they could see through all the BS of the bad coaching and stuff like that. So props to some of those Detroit Lions fans. They know their football. And another guy that knows football is Trey Busy, but what he does here on this segment is he knows who is bullshitting us from the media, and he likes to highlight them and say that they need a little something on the side, something to get their mojo back. And basically what they need is some sex, some hot, dirty, sweaty sex.
Sex in the city.
So let's find out from Trey who he has identified as the person that needs sex.
Fuck. I was on. It's just been so long, man. I gotta fucking narrow it down a little bit here. It's the main thing, man, it's like I want to say it was last week, ESPN. Last week, I forgot which reporter directly. I could probably look it up, but they like the whole thing with the whole Mitch thing, man. Like we've been through this shit so many fucking times. I want to say even on Monday, fucking Phil had like an hour and a half rant just straight about this. Of course he's gonna fucking throw interceptions in practice, man. They're telling him to go down the field. They're telling him to take throws that he wouldn't take in the game. They want to test the defense. They want to test the offense out. He's gonna throw picks, man. You know, he's throwing picks he's throwing passes to players he never played with before in an offense he's never played before. So the whole notion that everybody's like all worked up saying, oh, he's throwing interceptions in fucking practice. Like, come on, man. You guys need to just go fucking take a shot of whiskey and go put your face in some pussy, man. Please. I mean, I'm just saying, man. Like, they worked up over. We're talking about practice, man. Like, I don't know how to say it. We're talking about practice. Not the game. Oh. Practice.
Are you talking Rich Campbell? Is that the guy who replaced Jeff Dickerson, Shane?
I hope everything good with Jeff Dickerson, man. That shit's fucked up. But yeah, Rich Campbell, fuck him. All right, fuck him. Fuck that podcast. It's boring and they suck. I hate that.
Yeah, Campbell and Weeder.
And so, who's the main guy who replaced Jeff Dickerson, Shane?
I think they're both bouncing off both of them, aren't they?
Are they?
I think so too. Yeah.
So I think it was one of those two. Sorry, I can't put my finger on it. That was hyping up these interceptions that Trey's talking about on ESPN radio with Waddle and Sylvie. That he's very concerned.
That's Weeder. Yeah, Weeder was the one that was worried about that.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, Phil. On Friday, I did my surprise visit to Bourbonnais. I didn't tell nobody I was going. I just popped up on their ass. I did my surprise visit, and Kyle Fuller had like an interception. Kevin White caught the ball, and Kyle Fuller kind of snatched the fucking football out of his hands. Like he literally just snatched it out of his hands. I'm like, yeah, ain't nothing you can do about that. That's a grown man play.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those. I want the football more than you. He did the same thing against the 49ers last year, but that certain plays is not all on Mitch, man. Like that's another thing. Like some of those plays are on the wide receivers, but that's going to gel out as soon as they get more time on the field together. They only been 2 weeks on the fucking field together with these guys.
Exactly.
And training camp, with the pads on. OTAs don't really count for me.
Jeff Weeder.
It's not Jeff Weeder, it's Dan Weeder.
Dan. Yeah.
Geography and names, not strong suits for Phil. We've established this.
Dan Weeder.
Yeah, they're him and Campbell both. They're negative Nelly, Mike North type guys, I guess. But no, when it comes to the Bears, but
yeah.
No,
negative
I mean
Nelly, really?
Yeah. No, well, come on. I'm trying to be nice, BG. You want me to go there?
No.
But come on. How many times on this show have we talked about how stats don't tell the real story, but you're charting interceptions in practice in a second-year quarterback that's inexperienced in a new system, and he's throwing a lot of picks in practice. Well, that shit doesn't matter. I mean, we talked about Jay's first year with Adam Gase. He went 7 practices without throwing an interception. What did that mean for us? Didn't mean anything. So you want him to make those mistakes in practice. Get it out. That's where you're going to get your timing down. Force some balls into coverage. See, who can get there and who can't. Who's going to fight for the ball? Who's not? That's where you want this to happen. It's craziness.
Well, and what's interesting, too, is one of the guys that's been making a lot of picks has been Prince Amukamara. And Vic Fangio talked about Prince today at the press conference, and this is what he had to say.
He has.
What's the difference with him?
I don't know. He said he wanted to get 10 interceptions, so I guess he's trying to practice it. But he has had more picks and has played better. And I like the way he's looked in practice.
Anything about his technique or anything?
His technique's improved. His football knowledge has improved being here in second year. They didn't like him in New York. Jacksonville didn't like him. We're glad we have him.
Vic, what impression did
That's pretty good praise there from Vic Fangio.
Yeah, that's where your story. That was like throwing the javelin right through the target, getting a bullseye. Because for Vic to say and point out New York, Jacksonville, but we love them, you know, and that to me, I mean, Vic is fucking awesome in this conversation. He's like, oh, he's practicing on the jugs. I guess he wants to get better. He has gotten better, and they didn't want him, and they didn't want him, but we want him. If that's not telling a young man who's in the dorm, and they all listen to the news, they all see social media, don't let anybody fool you. They got a lot of free time after meetings. They're playing Madden. They're hearing these shows and people like us talking about them. That defensive coordinator giving you that kind of recognition to go along with Kyle Fuller, that's one of the reasons why I think people are sleeping, because my father would always say this to me: you got good corners, you could do whatever you want on defense. You could do whatever you want, and it's absolutely true. And these two guys fit this system. They made it a priority to get them. They matched Green Bay. They did the right thing. And I'm just excited to hear Vic, you know, be passionate.
Phil, don't you think Aldo hit it on the head with Mike? You know, if Mike's got a pessimistic outlook on the Bears of this year, but he said how much of your history being a Bears fan since the 60s, I think that absolutely plays into it, because if you want to talk about the national media, what does it come down to that they say at the end of the day? If you can have a consistent running game and play defense, you can win games in the NFL. And that's
it never changes.
That's two of the brightest spots on the Bears team. But it's still, I mean, you're essentially saying that they're going to get worse this year.
Can't. How do you get worse than what you saw offensively last year? It's impossible to me with not only this kind of talent. I mean, Aldo fucking was wax poetic about the receiving core and the 180 of talent. Add a philosophy and a scheme to go along with an accurate quarterback. As Shane said, and I've said this before, the sauce is the runner. If you can't run, you can't win. You got two corners, you can play anything you want, be aggressive. But as Shane is saying, you got a good defense. You got an elite fucking running back. Aldo's ready to fucking build a new face on the fucking monument in Tariq Cohen, for God's sake.
The Mount Rushmore.
The Mount Rushmore of Chicago. Tariq's pictures going up there with Mrs. Gandia and Aldo on a fucking ladder.
I'll tell you what, the kid can excellent effort.
But I'm saying Aldo's so excited about this. There's nothing exciting coming out of camp, according to Mike. So I'm saying there is a lot to be excited about. It's unfortunate with Raquan, but you hope that gets done. But even without Raquan, it's the worst case scenario. He doesn't sign and there's all this drama. Offensively, there's no fucking way in my life, unless the quarterback gets injured, let's knock on wood, that you're worse off. And in fact, your backup quarterbacks are better than what you've had here, in my mind. So they know the scheme, and you still could get out of it because you got a great running back and a great defense. And it never changes. Football's complex when it comes to X's and O's and philosophies and all this, but at the end of the day, when everything is on the line, that running back clears the way to continue drives, and that's why I think we're in the wheelhouse. I saw some asshole on Twitter, one of these writers, saying, "Oh, the Bears don't even have the best back in the NFC North. The Packers do. The Packers do."
Bullshit. The Packers don't even have a running back. Fuck
the
them.
Packers running back, this kid Jones, I guess he got hurt too. He's another kid that got hurt.
Yeah, a wide receiver playing running back for him.
Exactly. They have the other kid from Stanford. Ty Montgomery. That's a better Cook's coming off an injury and flashed. According to Mikey North, he's not even 2 years in, so he hasn't done shit. So, to me, the disrespect we've documented, it's funny how it's changing a little bit. You can't deny Jordan Howard's sincerity and leadership, really. I mean, I saw him on NFL Network talk about what he's doing, that he's a known issue, and he handled it beautifully, I thought, and appropriately. But really, we documented this narrative that's drawn from a bad throw that was a critical drop. But in that reality of the situation, he doesn't even get in the end zone with that throw. The safety buries him at the 1.5 yard line. So because the late millisecond late, it was like 7 milliseconds late. So again, I just think we're in the green check marks that you want to start checking boxes off on this football team. It is a lot more green check marks than red X's.
Bears Barroom breaking news.
Sticking with the theme of talking about our NFC North competition, Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet reported earlier today, and so did everybody else on Twitter, that the Vikings and wide receiver Stephon Diggs have agreed to terms on a 5-year extension worth $72 million. He will get $81 million max, 40 of that in guarantees.
This kid has had some good games against the
Do they
Bears.
have a clause?
Yeah, the helmet clause in there in this contract.
Exactly. Are they fighting over anything? 70 million? Oh, Jesus Christ!
Stephon, if you drop your head, we're gonna have to take most of your money back. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be like a fucking game of bingo. Sorry. Everything we promised, we're taking it back.
Here's your non-guaranteed, guaranteed money, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your buffet line ticket to go across the street and buy a burger at McDonald's. It's like, what are we doing here?
Trey, what's your opinion on this rule and Roquan Smith holdout?
The Bears need to do whatever fucking it takes to get him on the field. I don't give a shit. We have the money to pay him guaranteed money, man. I mean, come on. We have the money. If you could throw Glennon $18.5 million to fucking throw picks and stand there and look retarded, then you could easily.
Can we change the word? Can we just
call him mouth breather?
I take retarded back. Remedial. How's that? Remedial is better.
We gotta edit.
Remedial.
Remedial.
Ridiculous. Just put ridiculous over him, please.
He's looking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Man, I tell you what. Look,
Please.
Man, honestly, dude, like he stands there with that dumbfounded look on his face, like he ain't know he just threw a pick. Fuck him. But anyway, the point being, the Bears have the money to pay Roquan his guaranteed money, man. Just give the kid his money. Give him his money and guarantee him that no matter, because he's going to play hard. He's that type of player that plays hard and gives hard hits. So obviously, he might, but this new rule, man, this new rule really fucked everything over, honestly. But he might get a fine. So what, man? Let him pay the fine, but give him his guaranteed money still. Don't take his money from him.
Can I say this? Because I didn't get to say it with Mike. One thing. I'm stealing it. Real quick.
That's a nice T-shirt.
I think I'm stealing it only because it's so true. Now, say what you want. What side you're on? Bears side, Roquan side. You're understanding it, whatever. But one thing you can't argue is that you gave Mike Glennon $18 million guaranteed. And you drafted this kid 8th overall. So your opinion in scouting this player was that he's worth the money and the risk and the reward. And if you can't understand that and you look at what Trey is calling the albatross, that's ridiculous, in Mike Glennon that you gave it to him. No matter what anyone tries to tell, well, they had a plan. They tried to trade him. They were doing the competition. They did it. It was terrible. It's embarrassing that he was a starter on the Bears. But in this situation where you're moving forward in such positivity, Shane, everything going right, and you're arguing over dollars and cents and pride now, to say, now, CAA, like I said, they have an issue too, Shane, that we didn't. They're worried about the next 3 clients too. Look what we did for this guy. They're not really concerned about the kid. And I completely understand the whole fucking thing. But at the end of the day, the Bears can't be cheap in this. You just gotta meet halfway or go above and get it done.
Yeah, that's why I mean, as much as it makes Chicago look stupid,
bad, yeah.
It's, you know, in every single although you've dealt with it, we've all dealt with it. It doesn't matter if you're buying a car or whatever you're doing. There's 2 sides to it, and I said at the end of the day, who knows what's going to come out? We're never going to find out, absolutely everything that was involved, and it's just part of the process of the negotiation. Like I said it when Mike was on. One side leaks a story, it makes them look like the sacrificial lamb, and it makes the other side, look like they're, super, super greedy. And then the next step is for the other side to, we're not going to talk about it. And then they relent a little bit with that, like Nagy did today, and said, we're at a stalemate. Things aren't going anywhere. And next, something will come out. Maybe somebody from, even with Joey Bosa, his mother said if she wishes that Joey would have forced his way out of San Diego like Eli Manning did. And then within days, he ended up signing his deal in San Diego. And
they had to bring another agent in to negotiate because there was such bad blood between the two.
Yeah, and he ended up winning Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But here's where I don't agree with you, Shane. This is where I don't agree. I think we're going to find out because an orange pant-wearing guy has sources in Hallis Hall that are telling him everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
So NFL executives, they're hearing about this, and they immediately call certain people to tell them what's going on, Shane.
Yeah. Well,
so we're going to find out.
Yeah, just stay tuned. But
the Bears as an organization got to ask themselves, man, like how bad do you guys want to, improve this year? How much more do you want to improve? You improve by giving this dude his money and having him out there in training camp because it's a top 10 defense and he's a top 8 draft pick and he's the best linebacker in this draft.
He's the quarterback of your whole fucking defense. He is the guy.
He's a future Pro Bowl player, and you don't have him out here training. Well, he need to be out here with these reps for Jesus. He needs these reps.
Well, that's the thing, and that's so true, Trey. You think about it as coaches. What do you always? Every rep matters. Every time we're out here trying to improve. But the Bears are essentially saying that, but saying, well, but if you lower your helmet 4 years from now, these reps that you're sitting out because we may not want to give you, we may want to take some of that guaranteed money back. It's just you're putting all this momentum has come to a screeching halt right now. Unfortunately, with everything in the offseason over semantics, over something that may happen, it's foolishness.
And listen, Shane, if fucking Kevin White is still getting all his money, do you think fucking the guy you picked 8th overall to be the quarterback you're worrying about cutting him? You haven't cut a guy that hasn't fucking played it. What has he played? 8 downs of football for you? Come on.
It's
fucking ridiculous that you're worried about Raquan 4 years from now. Oh, we're gonna cut him. We don't want to get what?
How many first rounders in the last 15 or 20 years have been cut from the team within the first 4 years. How many?
Get one of these smart fucking bloggers on here right now. You'll know the numbers, Shane, because I haven't a clue. But I don't. How?
It's got to be very, very, very
one
small.
hand.
Yeah,
hand.
exactly.
One fucking hand. The receiver from the Jags that was a fucking drug addict. Fuck. Manziel, who was a drug addict. Fuck.
I know it's normally quarterbacks. The guy from Oakland, Jamarcus Russell. It's mostly quarterbacks because they.
I could just see her eyes aflutter.
I don't think.
We interrupt this Bears Barroom radio broadcast to bring you breaking news. See, we got news on the wire. Breaking news. Breaking news.
Make this Roquan sign so we can quit talking about this.
I have been refreshing all night, and my fucking finger hurts, and it is not Roquan Smith signing.
Oh, God,
sorry.
You guys were laughing with.
She stabbed me with her stilettos here.
We were laughing at how many F-bombs you dropped tonight, Phil. I mean, I'm going to start calling you full Philly fucker, because like that's every other word that you're saying. I'm not used to this.
Roquan disease.
Mike North even dropped booty at one point.
I know.
Oh, you think you're talking?
He did. He says we're gonna kick booty.
We're gonna have to get Mike used to being able to let go now.
We might want to reel it in just a little, just a wee bit, and let him, catch up to the rest of us. It's gonna take a while.
I don't think he's ever okay with me.
As long as he never takes his food home with him, I'm okay with it.
We gotta let Trey in on that and get it. Trey can be the referee here.
No, he doesn't.
Can I break this
at
news?
a steakhouse.
Hey,
Yeah.
Trey, I went out to eat with Mike North today at this really great restaurant near Arlington racetrack, and they had great beef sandwiches. I ate half of mine, and I wrapped up the other half to take home. Now, these guys are busting my balls.
Half a sandwich, Trey. Half a sandwich.
What's wrong with that, Trey? What's wrong with
that? Come on, man. A sandwich, man? What the fuck? What is this, man? The fucking Bears 25 proof?
Can you see Aldo opening up Pop-Tarts? I'll get to you tomorrow.
I always end up saying, are you going to finish that? Because I always kill my food.
Yeah.
I will be live reporting on every meal we have this weekend.
We need to report.
Hey,
Aldo
I
has
gave her
finished.
a fucking beef sandwich on Sunday. I'll tell you that.
You guys have to step back a little bit because, in the words of Virginia McCaskey,
respect the elderly, motherfucker.
Hey, remember that episode we were fucking... No, I ain't gonna go there.
yeah, don't go there.
True soul.
All right, so what was this breaking news that we had 30 minutes ago?
Like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Breaking news.
It's not breaking anymore, BG. You're not doing your job. Jeez,
Yeah, right.
It's old news now.
Oh, man.
Well, it's old news because it was a couple of hours ago, but it is news that made me very happy. This Saturday, when most of us will be at camp, it is Urlacher Day at camp, so they are hashtagging Congrats54 and are encouraging everyone to come and, quote, break out the eye black and wear your number 54 jersey, and mine is already packed.
Shave your head, Aldo.
Brad Biggs at Brad Biggs was reporting a couple of hours ago that former Bears linebacker and defensive coordinator Ron Rivera will attend Hall of Fame ceremony Saturday in Canton. The Panthers coach is traveling to the event with players Greg Olsen and Julius Peppers to see Brian Urlacher honored.
Very cool.
Where's Brad Biggs been? I haven't heard shit from that dude.
Yeah, that's true. Is he all right?
I have not heard fucking shit.
I haven't seen a tweet from him.
Oh, pardon my language, BG. I'm sorry.
He tweeted out something that was about an article on Roquan, but yeah, it's been very. Grody's taken over the world. I think that's why.
Yeah,
our boy.
No, Biggs took a week off, and since Monday, he's been tweeting about 3 times a day. That's about it.
I just want to tell Brad Biggs that if he wants to resurrect his career, he better come on Bears Barroom Radio.
I tell you what, man, ever since you guys lit a fire, you can't shut that motherfucker up, man.
Exactly. Mark Brody, take it easy with the tweeting, dude.
Going off.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Brody, quit tweeting so much. God damn.
Selfies, right?
Yes.
With your boy Chris Emma.
Emma. Yeah, they were smiling.
Hey, fellas.
He's happy.
We're gonna move into shout outs, but I want to do this in a really special way today because this is a historic Bears 100 proof. So listen to the first few seconds of this. When the show's almost done and the shout outs have begun, all we ask is you tell your friends so that the borrow never ends. Tell your friends. This is the part of the show where we go around the table and we ask everybody to issue out a shout out. We know that Shane is going to give a shout out to Adolf Hitler or Benito Mussolini, so we'll begin with Shane tonight.
You guys think Aldo was staring at his sandwich when he sang that song?
All I know is that I'm glad that wasn't on last night's show because we'd be losing people in that chat room and listeners real fast.
It's a really good way to clear the room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out my boy, Draft Dr. Phil. Phil, I love you. And I just wanted you to know that. Appreciate you. I love you. We're gonna play some volleyball, get away, and we'll work shit out. I'm gonna fucking block you on Twitter, and then I'm gonna fucking love you again, and I'm gonna love you again, Phil. Yeah. Just it's gonna be fucking awesome.
On the 69th show.
Oh yeah, 69. Trey, this is our 69th show this year.
This is our 69th show.
And out of this 69th show, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Shorty up with one later on.
There's Trey's shout out.
Hey, Trey, did you hear last week when I did the drunk show segment? What'd you think of that?
Yes, I heard that. I fucking wanted to fight everybody on the show. I was like, what the fuck is this? You had me sound like a fucking frat boy or something.
Aldo sounded like he was on heroin though when he started talking, man. That was great.
But if it's at the point where you can't recognize your own voice, man, I didn't know who the hell that was. I'm like, wait, that's me.
All you heard was motherfucking Burger King, man.
I the conversation. I was like, oh yeah, they had to sound like Air Jerry.
All in all, angel.
Yeah, we're gonna do the reverse of Air Jerry. We're gonna speed him up a little bit.
Oh God, please.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Do we drop that in there?
No.
Calling all angels sped up.
We could do that.
This is Air Jerry on speed right here. I'd like to give a shout out to my 10-pound Sasquatch that I had with BG about 7 hours ago. Love you, Chris. I gotta take a little 6-week vacay for my baloney pony because my lunch got tore up. So just gonna sit back here in Southwest Indiana with my little Canadian toddy. Sit back. It's gonna be fucking great. Hey. This is Air Jar out. Deuces.
All right.
Deuces.
Bears, got any shout outs after that?
Wow. How do I follow that up? Well, let's give a shout out to B. Diddy, who is celebrating a birthday today.
All right, B.
Oh, is he?
0. Yes, he does.
No, man, the Houston Rockets suck, and he's 40 years old.
Way to go.
Not for another half hour.
No, let's shout out Virginia McCaskey, who in fact is older than Queen Elizabeth by a whole 3 years.
Really?
Respect the elderly, motherfucker.
Is he gonna take the
I want to shout out all of the barflies who were so passionately debating our new embroidered hats. We've heard you, and we will have 2 options for you: the neon and then the classic Bears white, navy, and orange.
When did the Dolphins hats come out, VG?
You're very cute. The neon hats will come out at the same time as the non-neon hats. And shouting out everyone who will be at camp this Saturday and Sunday. I will be in town all weekend and looking forward to meeting you guys.
Yay! That's going to be fun.
Nice.
Trey Busy, got some shout-outs for us?
Oh.
that's my boy over there. You're my boy, Blue.
Hey. Yeah, I just want to, I don't ever give Phil a shout out, man. But the rant from Big BHL, man, like breaking down the thing with the Mitch Trubisky and the interceptions at camp, man. Like a lot of people would just had the whole thing misconstrued, man. They were like really nervous. The national media had them all on the edge of their seats, ready to jump off the damn cliff. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna throw picks in the games and blah blah blah." You know, your opening rant really helped out the Barflies a lot, man, because they were like, some of them were like, "Well, he looked really bad," and I seen videos of him throwing picks. So I'm like, "No, the defense just looks really good," which is what it's supposed to look like. But that really, that was really good opening rant, even though it was like 45 minutes, but it was still really good.
I took you to church.
You took him to church, man. You
took him to church.
You did the praise and worship and the offering.
Since Phil's got 2 shout-outs, can we skip his shout-out segment?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got 3 minutes.
Love. I'm sending love across the pond. I got a great DM this week, and I'm not going to share the DM, but people that write a paragraph or more about what they feel and what Bears Barroom not only means to them, but what it's done for them. I appreciate the truths, and when someone shares something personal like that and feel like they know the game better, they understand not being misled by the media and what Trey's talking about. Thank you, Trey. I put a lot of passion in it, and I know all of these guys do too. I wouldn't be involved with it, and I'm happy Mike North's coming on. Shout out to him, but shout out to Mr. English Bear. I appreciated your kind note, your words of wisdom, and your passion for Aldo, Bears Girl, and Shane, and myself, and Trey as well. So everybody's in the house tonight. Guys across the pond, John Bradley, Sandy Tom. I don't know, maybe I need to put a show in England or over across in Europe, because I'm getting a lot of British fans, I guess. They skip through the BS. They don't want to politic. They want the truth.
1 minute.
I think that's where they're going. So I'm going to shout out Zeke, Ryan Heckman, his kind words. Jim Larison has been promoting the show. Got to shout out Jim. Steve-O, 1934, Mark Dubai. You guys keep bringing it. Chachi, Berlissimo, my boy Tooch.
Tooch.
Shouting Tooch out, being a strong voice. My boy Jason McFly, the super producer of beats for me. He's making some beats.
Oh, nice.
So me and Bobby can write a few more songs. We got one in the works. The Kyle Long song, we're going to have to wait till next week to do that. And all of this stuff going on. I appreciate Bobby Phelan as well. And James Ford. And EJ,
Ooh,
I
that
saw
was
what
made
you
at
said.
11:30.
EJ, I saw what you said.
Did you give Greg Braggs for the fucking shout out for fucking surviving?
I've given him like 20 shout outs, but yeah, we never talked about the accident.
Look, listen, this is the craziest thing about that whole situation. I met him on that Friday, and he was telling me about how the head of the media, the head of Chicago Bears media, approached him and told him, like, hey, you know, you need to stop with the videos and blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me how he talked to him and stuff like that. You know, players appreciate it. Players like that he's putting the film out there because a lot, like he said Tanner Gentry told him that his family doesn't get to see him play football, so him putting the videos out really helps his family be able to see him play and stuff like that. So literally, I met Greg, and I want to say right after practice, he got the accident. I'm like, man, did the fucking Bears media set him up or something? Like I had.
Damn. Oh boy.
That was Tony Medlin was driving that car. Couldn't see over the steering wheel.
Ted Phillips sent him.
I said the motherfucker hopped up like Undertaker and shit the next day to go to fucking training camp.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep him down. That says a lot about I'm addicted.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, kept it real.
I can't believe that the Bears brass approached Greg on that. I did not know that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, he told me Friday. He was like the head of the media guys came to him and told him like, hey, you gotta stop, you know, putting that shit on, you know, posting that.
Or what? They
can't
don't have anything.
do anything.
They don't have anything.
The next day they put a sign up, Aldo.
Oh, is that right?
Greg told me, and Ryan Heckman DM'd me. He's like, Phil, there's a sign, no video. It says no video. Don't take video. It says on the sign as you enter the camp. And Ryan's like, what do you think? I go, fuck the sign. They can't do shit. Any scout could go in there and watch the whole fucking. We talked about it before.
That's exactly what Greg told him. He said, "Fucking Packers scout or somebody come there and fucking watch."
Exactly.
Aldo, you got to walk in that fucking place with a GoPro strap.
And half a sandwich.
Like fucking Bears Barroom GoPro strapped right to your fucking forehead.
All
we
right.
got a job for you, Nikki. We got a job.
Well, and speaking of Nikki, that was my lone shout out. I already mentioned them earlier in the show. Nikki Kurtz, what he has done for the Barroom is immeasurable. He was the one that opened the door for us to get Mike North here on Bears Barroom, and look at how it's all culminated with Mike North now a member of the Barroom. Nikki Kurtz, we are eternally grateful to you for your dedication to the Barroom, and we wish you nothing but the best, amigo. I love you, and I got to tell everyone else that I love Bears Barroom. I love being associated with Bears Girl, with Trey Busy, with Shane, with Phil, with Mike North, with all of the Barflies, our great writing team. All of you people are just making my fucking life unbelievable. And this weekend I get to spend some time with Bears Girl. She's coming into town. We're going to go to camp. We're going to party. We're going to shoot videos of ourselves, of the players.
You want to step that back? You want to step that back?
Speaking of videos, are you soft in your video? If you are soft in your video, try Blue Chew. Everybody at Bears Barroom takes Blue Chew, even Bears Girl.
And listen,
Bears Girl don't need no Blue Chew.
She's strung like bull now.
If you are at Bears Camp this weekend, let us know at Bears Barroom. We're hoping to all get together after practice to have a drink down the street at the brewery down there. So let us know. We want to see you. We want to hobnob with you. And again,
go to the calendar and comment if you're going to be there, and that way we can set it up.
That's why she's here. She makes
and go to iTunes and leave positive reviews.
Yes.
On your review, leave it #Shane Barroom Jeopardy Champion. And there could be something in store for you.
Just like I Just like I sang about at the beginning of this song.
Yeah.
And remember, if you drink, please do not drive and do not hit into Greg Braggs. Do not rear end them or me when I'm out at Bourbonnais. And
Please don't.
always bear down.
Bye.
Don't let them put hit on the auto like how they did Greg.
Really?
Put a hit out on fucking Craig.
Oh, yeah. Right, BG? Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Screwed it up.
Totally
get it right.
did that to bust out those balls. I guess
Uh-huh.
I can't joke as much as this guy.
They just didn't
I'm
get
the
it.
one who originated. Oh, yeah. What are you talking about?
That doesn't mean you can spell it. You don't even know where
Yes,
the
I-
fuck
I know
Aberdeen is.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
last name.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh.
She's like, hey. How do we
Hey, yeah.
Like, A.
Fucking Fonzie, hey.
Everything's A. Like, when you do, I'll have A, they're like, wait, what about B and C? No,
Yeah.
I was just it's always A. Oh, man.
All right, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I got some work ahead of me tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's,
And Mike North, he ain't no Bears ball washer.
worked perfectly in the song.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a deja vu. You know what's funny, Shane? In the song, I do because you went, oh, yeah. Remember, it was that was that sound drop that Shane could never get right.
I was at jury duty that day, and this asshole's like, no, that's not right. I'm literally walking into the fucking courtroom before they swipe my fucking phone at the metal detector, and he's like, no, do it again. Put more energy into it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. No, you sound like an idiot. Do it again. Fucking bailiff is looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Judge Wapner.
Oh my
Like,
God.
just give me 2
People's
seconds.
Court. Imagine Shane at the People's Court.
Yeah, give me 2 more
Yeah.
seconds, and I'm staring into my phone going, oh, yeah. Is that good, Phil? Fucking sending it to him. 2 more seconds. Oh, yeah.
You see Shane with the music. Dump.
Yeah.
This next
Oh my God.
The next defendant is Shane Marsaw of wherever, New York. He's going, oh, yeah.
Don't take the law into your own hands. You take them to court, Phil.
Yeah,
What was that, Trey?
I mean,
Go ahead.
both have the Texans played in.
They've
I
been
didn't hear
played in none.
Fucking Trey's connection is
none. Absolute zero, bro.
Yeah, 0.
But they have more memory. Fuck, you know what, man? I'm tired of these motherfuckers. I'm about to just start fucking telling them to link up. Fuck this. I'm not gonna let some team that came out in 1999 talk shit about the Bears.
You know what Bill Nye says, right?
It just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck. Oh my.
Bill Nye.
That's me when somebody say Jordan Howard is in the league.
Science guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy's throwing down?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have played
Going
that for
down
Mike
like that,
North.
bro.
He would have appreciated that, right?
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Mike North picked Cleveland to go 12-4, Trey.
Wait, for real? The bullshit.
No.
No.
I'm about to say, what the fuck he smoking on?
You want some of that, eh?
Yeah,
What
Southside Sweet.
Man, that shit's good. If you think Cleveland's going 12-4, I need some of that.
So do I.
That perspective weed, like the shit Chris was smoking.
I need some of that any old way.
Take it up for the Bears blog. What the fuck I was like, what?
$1,000 a minute.
$1,000 a minute, y'all.
All right, y'all. I got to
Cha-ching.
head out. Thank you all. Great show. Everybody brought it big time.
Later.
You just burped.
All right, good talk.
Not me.
Phil.
Not me.
That was Phil.
It was not me. I would own that shit and be proud.
Ooh, was it? Is
the
it
guy
Trey?
that fucking took the
Was it-
sandwich home?
Was it Trey Shitty? Trey Shitty?
Trey Fishy.
It was definitely Shane. You could tell.
Yeah, it was me.
He's deflecting the blame.
Oh, whoever smelt it dealt it, Aldo.
Yeah. So is BG.
That dime on camera.
BG, that
All
was
right.
bad.
No
Jesus Christ.
way, BG. I have
What'd you
BG's
have?
back.
Would you have brisket for lunch?
Half a sandwich.
Everybody needs to eat meat, BG. Everybody.
You going vegan?
I'll have a half a sandwich and the soup, please.
I did have soup today.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Soup's not a meal.
Half a bowl?
I
Half a bowl?
No,
Just
I
another
had
half
the
bowl?
full bowl, but I'm
Soup
feeling
is not a meal.
I'm feeling sickly. I'm getting something. I'm getting a cold, so I needed soup.
It's like a 10-pound baby.
I already have a 10-pound baby.
Fucking heat and humidity in Chicago.
My favorite
this weekend.
episode of Seinfeld, Soup is not a meal.
No.
Gotta watch it.
It's a 10-pound Kramer.
Oh my God. If you could get that Easter egg, you'll be
Yeah.
Oh, God.
right in.
Oh.
That was great. That was good.
Adios.
Anyway.
amigos.
Later.
Bye, BG, Aldo.
Thursday night, we do this again, but live.
Oh, yeah.
Bears 100 live. How about that?
I like it.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to do something. I don't know what we're calling it, but yep.
I know what I'm calling this. Good night.
He's a beer ball washer.